two. Okay. That button is hit. The button is hit. The button is hit. And finally, the big show, the big one for AEW. Some would say their WrestleMania. And this was one really long hell of a show. Let me say that right off the bat. And it was a marathon, but in a way, I didn't feel tired after it too. But AEW All In Texas at the Globe Life Field. 3 years in a row we're doing this. Not in Wembley this year, so we're in the States this time. So, first off, let my co-hosts introduce themselves for today's show.
Black Shag in the building. It's been a while, but you got to motivate me to do these things. But we're here, fire show, I'm ready to talk about it. Let's get it.
Yeah, man, you got straight face 40 over here, man. I had to do this one, and I was pleased. I was pleased with the pay-per-view.
This is a very fun
Oh yeah,
show. This is a very, very fun show. First question I want to ask everybody, though, did anybody see the pre-show matches? Since this was a very long show.
just the last one.
I did see any.
Well, just to run through that real fast, then, especially after the first hour, I'll just kind of keep this really brief. The first pre-show match that they had was I guess, I don't know if it was a an 8-man tag, but it was Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, which you'll see later in the show, and the Von Erichs, Ross Von Erich, Marshall Von Erich, and Kevin Von Erich out there, to go against Shane Taylor Promotions. Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Carly Bravo, and Sean Dean. I know they had Anthony Ogogo out there with them and Trisha Dora. It's not much I can really say about this match. This is Texas, and this is the Von Erichs. So the Von Erichs are gods in Texas. And basically, this match ended off with everybody doing the Iron Claw, including Kevin Von Erich. So of course he's gonna get a big super pop. It's Texas, so I believe they signed a contract, Kevin Von Erich, some type of Legends deal. So, like I said, it's Texas, so they treating the Texas crowd real well, by bringing the Von Erichs out there.
I didn't
Um,
even know Anthony Ogogo was still employed, bro.
Same thing. I didn't even know he was still there.
I, I
You
think
just casually said his name. I'm like, wait, what?
I think I think I saw him probably like a few weeks ago, probably if not a month ago in like a 6-man throwaway tag. He was like in a jobber group, and that was that. That was it.
That had to have been on Collision.
Nah, Shaq. And that was Dynamite. I forgot who it was. They were going against like a team they were pushing, and I think they were going against the Ops. Yeah, the Ops. They were going against the Ops, and they had him already in the ring. You know how the job was already be in the ring already. By the time they go come off a break, that's what they had. They had like 3 guys already in the ring, and he was one of them. I,
I
I
don't even
was
remember
like,
that. That's crazy.
I don't even remember
But he
that.
was there. Huh?
that
I
was the
don't.
last time I seen him though. That was the last time.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that. That's crazy. I didn't remember that at all. So I didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't know Go Go was still there like that. So that's surprising. I forgot about that one. I just happened to see him here, and he wasn't even in this match. He was just with Shane Taylor Promotions. He just got in the ring just to get iron clawed by Kevin Von Erich. So yeah, it's not much I could say from that. The next pre-show match was the conglomeration. Big Boom AJ, the Costco guys out there. Hologram, Kyle O'Reilly, and double champion there, Tomohiro Ishii, IWGP Tag Team and Strong Openweight Champion. Didn't bring the tag title with him. Versus the Don Callis family of Lance Archer, Hechicero, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero Rapongi Vice. Listen, man, I don't got much to say about this. They brought the boom, I guess. Even Beretta ended up pushing the kid on the ground, not the one that rubs his chin all the time. The bigger one, well, they're both pretty big, but the bigger kid that got knocked on
Taller
the
one.
ground.
The older kid.
Yes. I what's he called again? Big Justice or something? All I remember was that I know the kid did a spear, which by the way, him and Rocky Romero are the same size. So I think he did
Oh,
a.
is Big Justice his shoot name?
I don't know what his real name is. I know the one bigger one is Big Justice, and the little one that rubs his chin is the Rizzler.
Okay.
So some people believe the kid brought it on himself to get involved in the match, but yeah, the Rizzler, he rubs his chin, folks.
No,
Um,
I'm laughing. I'm laughing at Shaggy reaction to it. Like, okay,
Hey, look,
like,
man.
I
I ain't gonna say I'm an old man or nothing, but like this culture has so passed me by, bro. I'm hearing this like, okay,
yeah,
okay, man.
I've seen some of these TikTok videos. I had to go look them up before when they even first brought them in. I'm like, I'm sorry, who are these people? And then I look them up and they just go to Costco and buy stuff and just say chicken bake and double chocolate chunk cookie a whole bunch of times and look at the price. They buy a lot of stuff from Costco.
I probably
So
get like $2 million per video for that. That's insane.
and Tony loves these guys, so he keeps bringing them back. Like this Big Boom AJ, he's had like what, 3 matches here in this company?
Hey, more power to him. I ain't hating on him. It's just like, wow, just hearing you explain it out of the loop is just like, wow.
And getting pay-per-view matches now, even on the biggest show of the year. And I looked at this whole thing like Kyle O'Reilly just coming out there dancing for some reason was funny. Um, Ishii just pops up back and forth in New Japan all the time now. I see at this point, even as a double champion. I'm not. I was like, I didn't know what was going on. All I know is that Big Boom AJ hit the power bomb or the power boom on the Rocky Romero, and they won the match and they celebrated after. So there you go. Yeah. Um, Last pre-show match. FTR versus the Outrunners. Kind of crazy seeing FTR on the pre-show of this. This wasn't really a bad match. I'll say that. Apparently this was supposed to be first scheduled on Collision, but I guess they got it on pay-per-view for the pre-show. And other than like a few clunky spots on here and there, like it wasn't a bad match. Maybe because FTR is involved and whatnot. And obviously FTR was going to get the win anyways, thanks to Stokely that got the leverage pin, you know, for the 3 count. I think what was it? The Outrunners was setting up for their finisher after doing the whole handshake, you son of a bitch thing and stuff. So I guess this feud is over. Well, I wouldn't even say it's over given the finish, but yeah, FTR got the win with like the leverage thanks to Stokely.
I wouldn't think it'd be over, but what happened later in the show kind of signifies FTR is going to bigger and better things. So unless they're going to do like an 8 man or something, but otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not much I could really say from this. So, yeah, maybe an 8 man given all the participants involved later in the show, but we'll get to that soon enough. But now we actually get to the main show of this entire pay-per-view. Like I said, the big intro, fireworks and all that. I do wonder if this was a sold out show, but I'll check that out later. But we kick it off with the AEW 6-man tag titles on the line. The Opps, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Katsuri Shibata versus the Death Riders of Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and the IWGP Global Champion Gabe Kidd, which they did not even mention he had a title or was part of New Japan or even in Bullet Club. If he's still in Bullet Club War Dogs, I don't even know right now. But he is just now in the Death Riders. It's not much I could say about this match. It wasn't bad. I did like the whole spot when they had what was like the Doomsday device on Hobbs, and I think Yuta jumped and Hobbs reversed it into like a power slam. That was pretty cool. Um, Somebody gay kid is trying to be too much of a tryhard out there being a heel by just walking around and yelling most of the times, but I see him do this in New Japan all the time, so I already know. Joe ended up hitting the muscle buster onto Yuta after like everybody was like hitting strikes to get to the floor. So yeah, a muscle buster on Yuta for the win. The Opps won, but then right after the Death Riders end up attacking the Opps after that and put a chair around Joe's neck, and Claudio stomped on it, which the EMTs had to carry out Joe on a stretcher. So yes, they did an injury angle on pay-per-view, which I guess this was kind of determined later on in the night because you already knew it was going to be interferences later on. So I guess the Death Riders are trying to, take out the help away from Hangman later on in this show. Thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I'm like you, man. There's not really too much to say about it. I mean, and spoiler alert for the next three matches, I'm kind of, as I was watching it, the whole show was just kind of all right for the next three matches. And like, I mean, when you get a show like this, you think you want to start it off with a bang, and this was kind of just your regular 6-man tag match. It came and went, and I was like, okay, that was cool, and that was fine. I mean, the post match angle, like everything makes sense. Ops retained, and then the Death Riders took out Joe to ensure they wouldn't come back later on. So like it was all logical stuff. It just wasn't very exciting.
how how I was looking at it when I was watching the match. Um, I would I would it put me back when like how the old WWE used to book pay-per-views, like used to throw the match that really didn't have that much stakes in it, throw that out there first. It really like a startup match. And like I don't think it's worked nowadays. Like a lot of people are looking for like a match that get them pumped up and then stay pumped up for the rest of the night. Like Shaggy just said, I would with him for the next three matches. I would kind of like in and out. The two battle royals and all that. I don't think the pay per view really picked up until the three main events. To be perfectly honest, but I, this match was okay, I guess. We got a post match angle afterwards with Samoa Joe took it out, so he can't help in the main event. That's about it. I can't really say too much about it.
Yeah, same here. I do have one question though, and I don't know if this kind of went away, or maybe it'll come back at some point. Whatever happened to Hook?
Yeah, they seem like they were setting something up with that, and they still might be. I mean, maybe with what they did to Joe, that maybe Hook is going to come back and take his place, or maybe they'll want him to, and he'll be like, "Nah, because y'all just kicked me out for Hobbs or whatever." Like, they could just come back around to it, but it is weird that they did that angle where he came back and kind of blew them off, and then they haven't even mentioned him since.
Yeah, because he hasn't been mentioned at all ever since. So I kind of
And you know
wonder.
what that means? Usually W when people just disappear, we stop talking about them. But
For that contract to run out. They about to leave most likely. So yeah. Yeah, thoughts on Gabe Kidd, by the way.
it's cool.
I mean, I don't know too much about him. You know how I am. I try to lead the opinions until I get to know him a little bit more. I ain't really see his work over there in New Japan, so that's like this my first exposure to him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know too much about him. He like the only time I really see him is he pop up out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And help the Death Riders. And I'm like, that's about it. Like that's a ace to the hole. But I don't know too much about him.
Yeah, 'cause I just feel
It's
like it's
kind
still.
of been the no, go ahead, bro.
Not because I just feel like it's still kind of random how you just got in this group.
It's definitely random. I was going to say that's kind of interesting hearing that from that perspective because I mean, you and me, Bryce, we follow New Japan long enough that a lot of these people that pop up, like we know who they are, we know their characters, where they're coming from and stuff. But it's just like when they just brought back Kota Ibushi and everything. It's like, well, if you don't watch New Japan, is AEW doing a good enough job to make you one care about their presence, but two like understanding their involvement in the show? Like, I mean, for at least with Ibushi, they did like video packages and stuff to show his relationship with Kenny Omega, but like Gabe Kidd showing up, Ishii showing up. It's like, all right, well, to the people who don't watch that, like, what are they thinking about this? Because y'all haven't said anything. It's
Nah,
beyond anything.
and some of these guys have titles right now. They actually have championships on them.
nah. And I like that you was intrigued by about that coming from my perspective who don't watch New Japan. Coda was one of those guys I would always, would talked about. No matter if I didn't watch New Japan, I heard of this guy, a lot. So it wasn't like he was like new to me. It was like, oh, this is my first exposure to this guy who I've been hearing about for the forever now. Um, like Okada is another name that was constantly brought up and was rung some bells that I just never saw his work. It just this is my first exposure. So and like with those guys, I was just like I was intrigued to seeing them for the first time and like let's see, you know, what they about. But I can't there I have to put in the caveat of their age. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not those guys who was talked about, like that was probably a decade ago. You know what I'm saying? So I like hey, you got to put in that type of perspective. So I don't criticize them a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people will do. I kind of put in like, all right, these guys was the best of the top of their game at one point. So they had to do something to catch people out. So they had to be good at that time. You know, it's just probably not their best work now, you know, as we speak.
I can understand that. Yeah, I get what you mean right there. So now, like, especially if you haven't seen these guys before and you just kind of seen them on AEW television, it's like, we need at least a better explanation. But then again, I think we've talked about this before, even with the Forbidden Door shows. It's like you haven't explained these guys well enough for people to know who they are, especially if you don't watch New Japan like that. Hell, they got another Forbidden Door show coming up anyways after this, so let's see if they try to.
Worst time of the year.
You said what
And,
time of the year?
For
and
AEW is the worst time of the year, bro. Like, because they're gonna try to they, they're gonna pause everything they've been doing just to do this, bro. And I hate it
mhm.
every year. Like it was cool the first year because it was like novelty. We hadn't had something like that before, but every other year since it's like, all right, well, now we have to stop what we're doing so we can do all this New Japan crossover, even though nothing is really going to come of it of consequence. It's like we're going to put people against people that we know are going to lose. Like when Shibata or not Shibata when Sonata was champion and they had him go against Jack Perry. It's like okay, so that's the kind of stuff we're doing for Forbidden Door. Like I've never been a fan, bro. Not since that first show, dog.
Yeah, after the first show, and I went to that one, it kind of really fell off after that. And I'll just say this before we move on. New Japan right now, I know they've been in the rebuilding process, but a lot of the stars kind of either left or they went to they're in AEW now, or they went to WWE. So yeah, a lot of big names are kind of gone or they're on their way out the door, like Tana. So, because yeah, he's in his final year, so I guess they gotta wait till after the G1 then for this Forbidden Door thing since they pushed it back to August. But we'll see what happens with that. Next is the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royale to get a shot at the AEW World Title. Number one was Mark Briscoe. Number two was MJF. MVP was out there with him. Obviously, you already know the whole feud that's going on with those two. Number three, Mr. Twitter Fingers himself, Ricochet. Internet guy himself out there was number three. Number four was the Ring of Honor World Champion, Bandito. I know MJF and Ricochet kind of worked together at one point in this match. I know well, not Ricochet, but what Briscoe started dropping elbows on everybody within the match off the apron. Number five, Konosuke Takeshita coming in like a house of fire, hitting the Blue Thunder Bomb onto Bandito. I guess they faced for the Ring of Honor title on Supercard of Honor the day before. I didn't watch that pay per view, but I guess they had a big match on there. Um, Right after that, what was it? MJF trying to take off Bandito's mask. And number 6 was Mystico, which, by the way, this looked pretty dumb right here. So Mystico does his whole big entrance. I don't know what music they gave him and everything. And I'm like MVP on commentary. Like, MJF, what are you standing there for? Enough of the popular circumstance. Stop the bullshit. Just hit him already. And it's like Mystico. By the way, a lot of this crowd throughout the night didn't have the best reactions out there. I think Mystico was waiting for those people to sing, given, Texas is right close to Mexico and all that. But dude, there was like no reaction to whatever song that was playing on the speaker. Okay, nobody reacted. And MJF had to kind of like sit there for like 5 minutes just to let him do his whole thing. I'm like him, like I said, I'm like MVP. Attack him already, okay? Why are we waiting? What are we waiting for here? Like seriously. Nobody no one knows this song. I'm sorry, nobody didn't know. This is not Mexico. All right, and of course, Mystico, Classic Sin Cara himself was already botching in this match, so I'm not really surprised to see that if you already saw the moves he was doing out there. 7 was Josh Alexander. We haven't seen him in a minute, but at least they put him in something meaningful. Than like Shaggy, you say, what in that match with Big Boom and all of them. Basically, as Josh and Konosuke working together, they did that double, what was like a German suplex thing throughout that match, so that was pretty big. Number 8 was the 5-tool player himself, Anthony Bowens, was in the ring. Started taking out everybody. He basically told Josh and Takeshita to suck it, and then he got killed by some elbow strikes after that. Number 9 was Roderick Strong, who immediately went right after MJF him with a knee strike and just taking out everybody after that. I think number 10, what was number 10, Brody King? Yeah, he was number 10 after that. I know he put a sleeper on MJF then before dropping him. Ricochet broke it up. Number 11, the return of Juice Robinson. Crowd popped big for him. So I guess Bullet Gold was back in a way. Right after that, he started doing the juice punches and everything. He started going after Ricochet, pinned him. Of course, everybody started calling Ricochet bald once he slapped him in the head. Fans chanting, welcome back. Next thing you know, the Gates of Agony end up coming out since they're now part of Ricochet's group. They start attacking everybody, and Ricochet did like a shooting star press onto Robinson trying to get the pin, but he still kicked out. Next thing you know, the Gun Club return. We haven't seen them in a while. I think the last time we saw them was when the Hurt Syndicate killed them. So they come out, they start fighting off the Gates of Agony, and they fought off to the back then. I actually thought I actually thought Jay White was going to come out, but he did not return, so he's still injured, I guess. So I thought all the Bullet Club was going to be back. Number 12, Kota Ibushi, just starts coming out there, kicking everybody, hitting a moonsault on, what was it? I think Bowens after that. Number 13, the Beast Muertos himself. I agree with Shaggy. He still has a lot of cool masks, but I still think it's kind of funny. He is now getting a push all of a sudden to a certain person with, we'll get to Grave Control later. But hey, taking that Triple H playbook, not a bad idea. But yeah, he starts taking down everybody after that. Who else was next? I know Bandito did like that 21 plex. I think he did like a double one. No, he did the 21 plex onto Ricochet, and then Takeshita got him from behind for a big double German suplex. That was a cold move. I think everybody was mostly out there at this point. But yeah, everybody just started hitting finishers after that, from the Froggy Bowl to the Left Hand of God to the C4. I'm sure you all know whose moves they are. And then number 14, which was the final entrant, was Max Caster, the best wrestler alive, which he stood over Anthony Bowens and started doing his little song, "You're the best wrestler alive, Max Caster," depending how it goes. And then before Caster could even get to like the apron and everything, he immediately got knocked off by Roderick Strong then and fell onto Bowens then after that. Roderick Strong, I know he had like his finish, I think it was a finisher, but he hit some move on Mark Briscoe, but Mark Briscoe ended up reversing it, hit the J Driller. MJF immediately got in the ring, threw out Mark Briscoe, and pinned Roderick Strong. So now MJF has a guaranteed title shot against whoever was going to be the world champion by the end of the night. So yeah, MJF has a title shot. This match went on for 35 minutes. Thoughts?
Yeah. Actually, before I even get into the match, I think it's funny that I've listened to a couple of reviews of this show, and you included all have gotten Max Caster's chant wrong, even though he says it like 10 times. Like, how am I messing this up, bro? But yeah, this was like I said, the first three matches on this show were kind of just there for me. And I don't think this match wasn't bad by any means, but I don't think this match justified the length of time that it got. Like it's one thing if you're packing this in with, big stars or big returns or huge surprises, debuts and stuff, but it didn't have really any of that. It was just really Juice, and that was it. And if you're telling me this is going 35 minutes just for Juice Robinson, it's like, all right, come on. And the quality of the talent in the match, it was not at the main event star level in this company. Like there was no Ospreay, there was no Swerve, there was no Hangman, there was nobody like that except for really MJF. So he was really the only one based on a week to week basis who felt like they could win this match. But then they still plugged this match in for 35 minutes on the show. And I'm like, why am I watching Mystico and Ricochet and Mark Briscoe and all these dudes for 35 minutes? like, no, none of these dudes. It's like the worst kind of Royal Rumble when they fill it with a bunch of tag team guys and lower level guys, and then you only have like three real contenders. It's like I'm sitting here for all this time for a bunch of people who are not going to win this match, and it was the first match of the night. I mean, it's only the second match, but it's the first match of the night where I was like, oh, it's going to be one of them kind of AEW shows where we're padding time, man. I never thought it would go 6 hours, but it became very clear in this match, like, oh yeah, we're gonna be padding time on this show. So it was uh, that kind of told me at the end of the show, but I'm glad that they still let that moment later on breathe because they could have easily had MJF cash in at the end of the show just to, do as wrestling does. But it was fine. It came, it went, but it took a very long time to get there.
Um, uh, I just felt like this match could have had more. Like you could have had more built to this match. Like had a couple of more storylines with other people, so it could throw us off a little bit. Because all I would think it was just an MJF versus Mark Briscoe show. That's all I was thinking. Like these two were the only two guys who mattered. Like everybody else they didn't really like nobody really had them winning this match at all. And then to be honest with you, I didn't really think Mark was going to win. I just think MJF needed somebody to feud with in this, for this match. So they picked Mark Briscoe. But I didn't think he was going to win. I knew I kind of once MJF name was put into this battle royal, whatever this shit is, they 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 already kind of telegraphed the win for me. So I kind of was waiting for how it could happen. I also thought that since they was in Texas, and like Bryce said, like a while in the beginning, when he was talking about the pre-show, that Von Erichs are treated like so much like guys over there. Why you wouldn't use them in this battle royal as a little pops here and there? You got the Juice Robinson return. That's cool. That was good. You know, um, but you could have used both of those boys to come out, had a little pop or something, did a little couple of moves here and there. They weren't gonna win, but they there. It's Texas. Why not? But I understand they needed them for the pre-show for some unknown reason, so they put them there. I thought they could have been used here, but yeah, 35 minutes of waiting for me. I mean, waiting for MJF to win the match. That's how it felt to me.
Yeah,
Uh,
to answer your question though, I think maybe the reason why they had Devon Eriks on the pre-show, and maybe this not be may not be the best answer, but I guess they're the six-man tag champions with Dustin, so I guess that's a reason. But just to like, I agree with what both of you guys said about this match. It's like I wasn't even surprised when MJF won because it's like I already knew he was gonna win, but yeah, you didn't really get that. many surprises. Like you said, other than Juice, it's not like I guess you know from those recent WWE releases, those 90 days ain't up yet, so you can't really bring any type of new surprises. But like you said, yeah, those is like you know some people, but who was really a viable name to really you know was gonna win this whole title shot other than MJF? And like you know, Kyle said he just had a feud. You know, he's in a feud with Mark Briscoe, and I guess a little bit of Mystico too, since they keep playing in that several times also. But nobody really in this match is like I like some of these guys in here, but you knew they weren't gonna win. You just know. And it's like we just had to get them on the show one way or another. Because like I said, I didn't even know the last time I even seen Josh Alexander. I kind of wonder where he went in general. And like I said, I like Takeshita, but you knew he wasn't gonna win. You knew Twitter Fingers Ricochet wasn't gonna win. You knew Mystico or Muertos or Roger. Like you just knew they weren't gonna win. Like you was just waiting for MJF to win. So that's all I can take from it.
Well, going into it, I actually agree with Kyle that I didn't think Max was going to win because they set up other stuff for him to do. Like I thought, I mean, he said the Mark Briscoe thing, but I thought the Mystico thing, because they got this CMLL show coming up or whatever. Like I thought Max was going to be busy with that. But then as the match progressed and I saw who was coming out, and then we finally got to the last person, I was like, oh, well, Max is winning, bro. Like, there's nobody here, bro, that feels like they want to be slick. Like you said, we could have been. I mean, they could have just given it to anybody, I guess. Technically, you could have given it to Takeshita, but it just didn't feel that way. It felt like Max was going to win.
Yeah, like you just knew MJF was gonna win this whole thing. And I still think the whole Mystical bit in this match looked really pretty dumb though, too. I was like MVP, just attack him already. Why are we waiting so long for this? Like nobody's really reacting to his music. Like it works in Mexico, but it wasn't gonna work here. Like it just wasn't.
I mean, I guess you don't really know that going in because you see when they go to certain places like Texas or California that have a large Latino base that Latino stars get massive, huge reactions. So I mean, it was a good idea in theory. I mean, if you thought, well, yeah, in Texas there's going to be a large Latino population. I mean, you see people in the crowd holding up Mexican flags and stuff, but they just didn't give it what they gave it on that CMLL show. So I mean, it is what it is. But
Yeah,
I don't think the idea was bad.
yeah, like in theory, like I said, in theory, I get what they were trying to do, but it just did not get executed right. But like you said, it's a large Latino presence in Texas, so I kind of thought they would have reacted big, but they
It
they
just
just
didn't.
didn't. They just didn't. So that's how I can take from it also. So yeah, it was just kind of weird when you look at the whole thing in hindsight how it went. It's like yeah, this did not go out as planned. But yeah, MJF won this. Like I said, really really long match. But let's move on to the next thing, which honestly, this was probably the saddest thing throughout this entire show. Uh,
Jeez.
yeah, unfortunately, Adam Cole, he could not be able to do this match with Kyle Fletcher. It was going to be for the TNT Championship. It was announced on the pre-show that he was not medically clear. So Adam Cole came out. He had the TNT title with him, and he was very emotional and really choked up, saying like what his some health issues that was gonna keep him back from defending the title. And honestly, he doesn't even know when he'll be back, but he has to go away for a while. He doesn't really want to talk about retirement. He doesn't want to put that in his head. But he was choking up out there, and he wanted to thank all the fans and everybody that supported him all over the world, from his highest moments to his lowest moments. And he wished he could have been on this show and everything. And, he talked really great about AEW, and he hugged Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. And fans chanted, "Thank you, Adam." He did his, Adam Cole Bebe thing. And, he said, "This isn't goodbye. Just see you later," basically. So it's very sad. I don't know what's going on with Adam Cole right now. Like I said, I hope for the best. And me and Steven talked about this. Like, it's more about the quality of life and whatnot. But Adam Cole's been injured a lot ever since he kind of got the AEW, and it's like he's been out longer than he's actually, you know, been on the show. So we don't know what's going on with him. I hope whatever it is, like, you know, it gets taken care of, and you know, hopefully he's back soon. But the timing of it is just very, very unfortunate. So, you know, like I said, we don't know what he got hurt with this time. Like it's just the last thing I remember, I think he was on Collision on Thursday competing, and I think he was okay, but something something happened. Something happened.
I feel like his word choice was specific. Like he didn't say injured, he said health issues. So that
Mm-hmm.
might mean a million things. Like it might not even be something related to in ring at all. It could be the effects or something he did before. Like he's talked about all the concussions he's had, so maybe he was having some kind of episode or something, or like whatever it is. The fact that he specifically said health issues and not, yeah, I broke my leg or something, like that tells me, yeah, there's something else going on, and it's serious enough that he just can't be like you said. He was just in the ring, but I guess I mean, whatever scans or something before this show happened, and they're like, "Oh, nah, yeah, you can't be in here." And then the fact that he even said the word retired at all is like, dang, bro. I mean, the fact that you even said it, bro, is like, I don't know, man. That sucks, bro. Because I mean, who doesn't love Adam Cole? Like, there are a lot of people who cite him as like one of the nicest wrestlers you can meet, one of the like coolest dudes. You know, you can kind of just get that vibe if you've ever seen the stuff on Up Up Down Down and stuff or whatever he's been doing on Twitch. Like he don't deserve this, bro. So I saw somebody on Twitter say, "Let me take all Adam Cole's pain and give it to Logan Paul," and so I'm just like,
Oh
yeah.
god damn.
Oh my
Shit.
God. Damn.
Damn.
And I'm like,
Shit.
yeah, this dude don't deserve this, bro. But it is what it is, man. It sucks, you know. He'll be missed. I'll say, not to be insensitive, but it's like what he's been doing since he's been back, you know, it hasn't been hitting. So if this is a situation where, you know, he needs to go away, and then if he can come back, we can reset all of this and get him back to where he was when he first got to the company. That would be ideal because I mean the whole Paragon thing right after the Devil storyline and then the TNT title run, like it's all just been so not great, you know, not living up to what we know he can be. So silver lining, I guess, again, not to be insensitive, is like if you can take this, whatever's going on, and you actually can come back, I'd love to see this dude get back to the Adam Cole we all know, and not all this what he's been doing, man. So yeah,
Yeah, I was with you, Shaq. I was when he said health issues, that one made me like kind of raise my antennas like, oh shit, damn, this don't really sound too good. You know, anybody, you know, I ain't saying anybody can come back from, you know, injuries or anything, but you know, when you hear injuries, it don't raise the bill to you because injuries can happen. You know it can happen at any time. But when you hear about health issues, it kind of raises raises your antennas like, oh shit, you know, I hope he can overcome this. You know, health first. Let's see what he could after this. Let's see how if he could come back. But I just really hope he could get through whatever he's going through right now. Because like Shaggy said, it's like the stuff that he been doing. It's like it's very. Now I wouldn't even say hit or miss. It's very miss. It's like everything been a miss from the Devil to the Paragon to the TNT title run. All of it is a miss, and it don't feel like Adam Cole to me. And so I hope he could get through this, and I hope I can see him come back again. You know, I really want to see that type of Adam Cole come back, but you know, prayers go out to him, man. I hope he really go get through this.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, just you know, like add one other thing, like I said, not being sensitive and whatnot, but yeah, you just been looking at his entire run lately. It just this just ain't it. It ain't been it. It just hasn't been it. And I don't know if it's just relying on the Undisputed Era at this point, still going on with that, even though it's not the Undisputed Era. But like you said, it hasn't been all that. And listen, we've talked about Adam Cole, and I'm sure a lot of people have when like I said, we're not gonna sit here and try to guess, but hey, we talked about the size of him after a while. Like motherfuckers talk, been saying like he looks smaller. They've been saying that for like a good while. Like he doesn't look like the same Adam Cole since NXT and everything. So, like I said, we don't know what, like I said, health issues. Like I said, when you're at health issues, even I had to kind of sit up in my chair. I'm like, wait a minute, that don't sound right. And it's like what Shaggy said a few minutes ago. You already know internet fans are gonna say something stupid, like you just said with the Logan Paul thing. I've already seen people go after Britt Baker now because I think she just you know said something mostly in support of him and everything. And then internet fans are gonna say like, well, why did you cheat on him? How do you know that? Like so.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so they already going about that, even though she sent like a heartfelt message to him, wishing him the best and everything. So, like I said, we don't know, but like I said, internet fans are already gonna try to say some type of shit and whatnot. But like I said, I hope he gets better. Like I said, hopes and prayers, and like I said, I hope we see him in the future and he gets whatever's going on with him taken care of. But yeah, that was probably the saddest thing to see throughout the entire night. But the match was changed though into a fatal four-way now for the vacant TNT title. Daniel Garcia, Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, which by the way, it's the second time they're competing tonight, and Kyle Fletcher, who had new music and like a whole, not a, like a whole change in the repackaging, but he had a couple new stuff to his entrance. And I looked at this match. I'm sitting here wondering to myself, like, okay, it's a fatal four way. And it's like, did we need to make this a fatal four way? I could see if it was Garcia and Kyle Fletcher again, I'd understand that. Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara just felt so random in this match, but then I had to remember, like, well, it's Texas, folks. And I'm kind of sitting here like, me and Shaggy talked about this too. We're thinking Kyle Fletcher's just going to win it at this point. By the way, this match went almost like 15 minutes. So it went on for a minute too. And I'm just watching this. I'm like, all right, Kyle's gonna win this. But surprisingly, Dustin Rhodes did like a cradle onto who did he pin? Was it Garcia, I believe, and won the TNT title. So I was very shocked to even see that. Like Dustin was not even the guy I expected to win. I don't know if I think he signed a new contract. I know they brought his family out there and the Von Erichs also. But I was like, Dustin Rhodes, and listen, it was kind of a flat finish anyway. You could tell the crowd, like I said, the crowd wasn't into a lot of this stuff. I felt like throughout, even up to here too, if you look at the reaction throughout half the night. But they did kind of cheer for Dustin after, but it was like Dustin Rhodes won the TNT title. Like the man's a triple champion now, folks. He's the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, six-man Tag Team Champion, and now he's the TNT Champion. So I guess hey, it's Texas, and they needed they need a feel good moment for the Texas crowd since he's from here, and the man is a Rhodes, folks. He's winning titles, unlike that other guy up there in the north in Connecticut. What's his name? Starts with a C, something like that. But at least we got a Rhodes that's a actual champion than that other guy over there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, when we were talking about it yesterday, I was like, well, I guess they already had 15 minutes slated for Fletcher and Cole, and so they just said, y'all go out there and fill that time. And this is just like the Adam Cole news just killed all of this. Like this was DOA, bro. As soon as this match started, and I mean, nobody was doing anything, wrong or bad. Like you just had to do what you had to do. But at the same time, it's like, okay, Adam Cole just killed this crowd, bro. What he said, everybody is just prayers up for Adam Cole right now. Nobody's thinking about any of this. So it's almost like y'all should have just had an intermission or something. Like, because as soon as Adam Cole left and Daniel Garcia came out, it was like, ah. Like, I even messaged you, man. I was like, yeah, I can't even get into this, bro, because I'm just thinking about uh, or whatever, you know, and it's whatever. And then the match goes on. for 15 minutes, and I'm like, okay, y'all, I get it. Y'all had this time slotted, but you got to make some pivots, man, because this isn't hitting, bro. And I mean, good for Dustin, I guess. Just to give him the moment, because you and I both of us were wondering why him and Sammy were even in the match to begin with, and well, lo and behold, it's because he was good. I'm not really is what I put money on that,
Hey,
but
Shaggy, your mic's going out.
oh, well,
Yeah, you kind of muffled right there for a second, just to tell you.
it might be because I got my joint on auto. I don't know. Uh,
You good now? You good? You go. Go ahead.
but yeah, I don't know, man. It just this was kind of it was just dull, And like I said, the first three matches, like they was just all on a level. Some had more highs than others, but largely it was just all right up to this point of the show, and it was just I couldn't get into it, man. Good for Dustin, I guess, but let's not linger on this. Get Kyle the belt and move on.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen though, Shaq. I ain't gonna need to lie to you. I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're just going to just get him the title for right now. It was a feel good moment after we just had this very bad information coming from Adam Cole, kind of put us in a dapper mood, and they wanted to pick the crowd back up, and they gave it to you know, Dustin Rhodes. I think in probably a few weeks, probably 2-3 weeks tops, that he gonna end up, taking the title. They gonna probably put him in a few, you know, him getting beat up by the Don Callis family back for a couple of weeks, and then they go book the match on Dynamite. But how I felt about this match, I kind of glad that Shaggy said it. So they probably already had 15 minutes already set aside for Cole and Fletcher already, so it wasn't really like this match went on too long. It was like this wasn't the match that you know, like we wanted to see go on for 15 minutes. They did a good job for what they did though. Having that type of information, get it sprung on them, and then they have to have a fatal four way, you know, off the back. I, I just felt like, like I said earlier, like the first half of this show was like kind of met to me, and it's like I really wasn't into it, and this was part of the reason.
So
Yeah,
we're about 2 hours in at this point, and we had like three matches.
three matches and we're two. Yeah, I did say that yesterday. Like we're like three matches in, and it's been 2 hours already. So it's like a lot of this stuff was stretched out long. I'm like, man, just for three matches, 2 hours. Like, yeah, that's crazy. And we didn't even get to like the fourth match started at the 2 hour mark.
But at
So
least then it got good. So
yeah, but nah, like I'll just say this. Yeah, I don't see Dustin going this long with this title. It'll probably, like you said, Kyle Fletcher will probably will end up getting it somehow, some way, maybe the next few weeks. But this was just a feel good moment, for Texas and everything, just given, especially just the bad news and whatnot. Would you say he's better than that, Dustin? Is he better than that other guy in Connecticut? What's his name? Cody or something? Is that his name? The politician there, Mr. Libations?
is that a real question?
Yeah, yeah, that guy. What was he, the WWE champion or something?
He said, "That's a real question. Am I supposed to answer that for real now?"
The the, the
Some small timer. I don't know.
but no, I'm joking though. Yeah, but yeah, Cody there. But nah, like I said, Dustin winning was very surprising though. But yeah, this ain't gonna be a long title run, no. But moving on after that, we go to a tag team match then. Will Ospreay, who did his Assassin's Creed Shadows entrance again since he did it last year at All In, and I guess the game is 25% off right now, which I still need to go play that game sooner or later. But he literally did the same entrance last year almost, like when they were promoting the game to come out, even though it didn't come out on the release date. So, yeah, he did his whole thing again. Next, Swerve, which came out to Shaka Khan's Ain't Nobody, which at first I actually thought it was Shaka Khan, but since it looks like they could not afford to get her, or maybe she refused, then again, AEW has the money to pay her, we're gonna give you the next thing. So Jojo Offerman, which I was very surprised to see here. I kind of thought she was on some type of WWE contract or deal, something like that, but I guess not. So she basically sang the Ain't Nobody song. Like, if you know Swerve from his time on the Indies, he did come out to Shaka Khan a lot. So yeah, he came out to that. Um, right after that, the Young Bucks, who did come out first, they came out doing their regular entrance, but then they went back to the back, and of course they did the Revolutionary War thing again from 1776, just like they did a Double or Nothing, except they came out on a boat sail and whatnot, and said they were the founding fathers. By the way, I know it's entrances and everything, but I swear to God, this went like almost, I want to say like 10 minutes if you kind of count everybody's entrance and stuff. The match itself, some would say this is where the show actually started to pick up a little bit more. It started off a
That's
little
what
bit
I'd say.
like it started off a little bit slow at first, but it did pick up. Now, there's two things you could take from this. One, obviously, you know this is gonna be the spot fest, of course, because you know everybody's gonna hit move after move as fast as possible, or some are gonna say that too many choreographed sequences and stuff, which there was some cool stuff. Like, I like the double spiral thing that Swerve and Ospreay did, and there was some story elements. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a full spot fest, but then again, when you involve Rick Knox in as the referee in this match, you already know it's gonna be all over the place. But I'm not gonna try to name every move in here, but obviously, they did the whole super kick thing several fast, and then hitting like double Canadian destroyers, and then Swerve and Ospreay did like a house call and a hidden blade, which that got the crowd jumping in for a second. And then what, they threw Swerve out, and I think Nick Jackson ended up kicking Prince Nana to the ground. In after that, even low blowing Ospreay, which the fans chanted "Ref, you suck" several times after that. And then they did the more bang for your buck. They did like the Meltzer or the Tony Khan driver, I think, on the Swerve out the ring. And then like I said, they like Ospreay still kicked out. They did the EVP trigger, which Ospreay avoided it. Tried to go for like the Os cutter, but the Bucks caught him again, and then they did the EVP trigger. They super kicks Ospreay several times, just laying there. Swerve crawled his way in and took the bullet for Ospreay several times in the face, but he was able to dodge the whole EVP trigger then after that, and even avoid the what was it, like the super kicks and all that stuff. I know the Bucks tried to go for the finisher again, but Ospreay got out of it. I think he did he do like a tombstone, which I think it's funny sometimes people easily kick out of tombstones nowadays. But what was it, Swerve? I think him and Ospreay like a double super kick on the Bucks then after. Um, Towards the end of it, Swerve did like the double stomp thing. Oh, it was like a double stomp pile driver. Yeah, because Swerve did the stomp, and Ospreay held him up, which honestly that Loki could have been the finish right there. But then they did like a double house call and hidden blade. I called it the house blade almost. And Ospreay and Swerve won, so they will still get a shot at the world title, since the stipulation was if Ospreay and Swerve lose, they would not get a title shot for a year. And now the Bucks now have to stop doing their EVP authority figure thing. So this match went on about 25 minutes right here. So a lot to unpack from this, even the entrance. So gonna tag it to the next thing right here. So thoughts on this, or some people want to say cynical for some reason, but hey, I don't know. Tag.
I think we're cynical, bro.
I ain't forgot about that.
Well, I stand by my guns, bro. But yeah, this is the kind of mess that brings out the worst kind of Twitter fans. It's like you want to hear people all day long talk about, oh, it's too many flips, oh, it's the spot fest, oh, it's too many kicking out of finishers, and I'm like, did you enjoy it, bro? Like, if you enjoyed it, then what are we even talking about, bro? Like, did you enjoy it? 'Cause I enjoyed it. This could be my match of the night. Like, I'd have to. I mean, maybe talk about it, maybe you know, fluctuations and whatnot, but. Like right now, I'd probably say this is my match of the night because for one, they put stakes on it that were believable. Like everybody thought, like I've heard so many people leading up to this saying, "Oh, they made it too predictable that Swerve and Ospreay are going to win," and I'm like, I mean, because if Hangman wins the belt, you can very much conceivably believe that neither Swerve or Ospreay is going to beat him for that belt. So a year from now, if they go back to Wembley, for All In, Ospreay can get a shot, or Swerve can get the shot to finally, cap off that feud or whatever. And meanwhile, he can feud with MJF, a rematch with Moxley. Darby and Danielson just came back. Like, people. To me, it didn't make it more predictable. It made it more unpredictable. And after mistakes, I was biting on his for the and
Hey, Shaggy, can you fix your mic again? Sorry, I could not hear you. It was like you was kind of muffling all over the place. Not to interrupt you.
so that was very, I ain't trying to blast that people, man. But yeah, man, it was horrible. But, no, you can't please everybody. But for me personally, everything I wanted was like, it was cool. Like, it's just, like, it was,
You there?
Yeah. Oh, I'm up.
Yeah, go ahead. I think Shaggy's trying to fix his mic right now. Go ahead.
All right, cool. Don't get me wrong. It was one of those matches that I did enjoy, but I thought like a few times that you had the crowd, and you could have got the crowd right there and kept them. And it's Ospreay and Swerve could have won the match right then and there. I really thought that they did have a lot of kickouts in the match, but all in all, I kind of I enjoyed the match to a certain extent. Like I said, outside the many kickouts, I enjoyed the match though.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be an up and down thing. What do you feel about this match and that? Like I said, like I thought it started off slow and it picked up, but I'm not gonna act like there was no story to it. So there were a lot of story beats in this match. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was a full on spot fest all the way. It's just like when it comes to Young Bucks match, it's like if you've seen one, you've seen them all. Like, get what I'm saying?
I know.
So like that. That's what I would think about. Go on about it. Like, did you enjoy the entrances?
Um, the Osprey interest, of course, like you said, we seen it before. It's like it's almost like beat for beat the same interest that he had last year. Um, JoJo surprised me, man. I was like, whoa, JoJo is on AEW television. Whoa, that's crazy. And like you said, you would have thought that she would have had some type of not a legend deal, some type of deal with the WWE, you know. But nah, she was on AEW television. It's a um I'm glad that I did listen to a couple of reviews before doing our review, because I heard that that was spurred interest in the indie. So from my point of view, I didn't know that. So I was just looking at, oh, why she coming out singing that song, even though I was like, man, damn, she still look good, no matter what. I don't care. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm confused. Like, whoa, why she singing this song? Why she here? But I
I was,
understand now.
yeah, I was genuinely surprised. So it's like I was like, oh, okay, JoJo's here. I'm like, I was surprised. I was like, I was genuinely surprised. I thought she was under some type of WWE deal or something, because I know the company has been helping her ever since Bray Wyatt's passing and whatnot. So I was just quite genuinely surprised. But no, she sang her ass off out there. It's just like it's like I got called cynical because I said me and Shaggy, we were talking yesterday. I was like, I guess they couldn't afford Shaka Khan then for real. So it's like this is the next thing. I wouldn't call it cynical. I'm just kind of like, if they really wanted to pay Shaka Khan the money, then they could have, or maybe she refused it. I don't know. Like this company has the money to damn near pay anybody.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. They do have the money to pay it then to anybody.
So yeah, one other thing to note right now, Shaq, he had to dip out. Like he said, he don't know what the issues with it. If that's gonna keep happening, and he said he'll just kind of catch us on the night going. I just said like you can try to rejoin right now, but he hasn't responded yet, so he may have just dipped out from here. Because I just said go check the mic. I don't know. Like, did you hear him towards the end? Because he like it was just a loud muffle, and I couldn't really. It was like I heard him, but it was just like a loud muffle.
Yeah, I really couldn't hear him too much. He was going in and out, but I could hear the gist of what he was saying.
Like I heard it. He just said he dipped out. So I said like, hey, you can just try to rejoin back in. But like I sent him a message through Twitter. So if he wants to now, but he said like he'll just catch us on the next one in if he said he'll just catch us on the next one in. But I said, hey, feel free to rejoin. I just said just check the mic levels and everything. But I guess we'll just go on from here from this match then. Next was the women's casino gauntlet battle royale now to see who gets a title shot for the women's title. And the first entrants were Chris Statlander and Megan Bain. They were the first ones in there. Number 3 was Willow Nightingale, who got a pretty big pop. I know they still go on the story with Willow and Statlander if they're really still friends in that, but still go against each other. Number 4 was Tay Mello, who came out with Anna Jay, by the way. Which, by the way, I know this is like a battle royale, it's no DQ, but it's like people that aren't even in the match were involved in the match. Okay, so Anna Jay was obviously involved in it. I don't know what happened with Mello and Bane at one point. I guess they were trying to do like some type of hold, but it was just really botchy. I know Penelope Ford got involved, and her and Anna Jay start going at it. Even when Penelope Ford got on the top rope, Harley Cameron returned. If you remember that no DQ match they had like over a month ago now, she had a broken nose, so she had a mask on. Fans popped for Harley Cameron then after that, and stuff, which I guess they kind of end up brawling to the back. Number 5 was Tekla. She came out. 6 was Julia Hart, with Sky Blue, which like, I actually thought Sky Blue was just in. Once again, it's like people that come out with the other person. It's like you actually didn't in the match because they so involved. So I thought Sky Blue was in the match too, even though she wasn't, because Julia ended up hitting like a moonsault as soon as she got to the ring on the Statlander and Bane after that. Even like trying to do like a version of old school on Bane then. Um, what was it after that? Tekla doing the whole spider walk thing. Number 7, Queen Aminata. Obviously, her and Tekla have a few going, so they start striking back and forth with each other throughout the match. Also, like the whole, and I know they did this on Collision, I believe. Like both Julia and Tekla, like they did like a big suplex on to like think Willow and Aminata, which they hung on the rope stand and just started looking at each other because they're like weird, crazy people and stuff. So they did that. Number 8 was Mina Shirakawa. Basically came out there, taking out everybody, even doing like a figure 4, I believe, onto Sky Blue, which she tapped out, but she's not involved in the match, but like she's heavily involved in it. Number 9, Texas' own Athena, the Ring of Honor Women's Champion, who got a very big reaction, given she's from Texas. She starts taking down everybody, even hitting Aminata with a pile driver and going out to the ring, taking out everybody, doing a cold break on Willow. Number 10, Thunder Rosa came out then, who went immediately after Athena, because I guess they had a match with Supercard of Honor the night before. Number 11 was Shuri. I didn't even know who this was. I guess she's from Stardom. I had no idea who this woman was. I couldn't even see her name on the Titantron graphic because it's like a giant graffiti type of thing. So I really didn't know who that was. Like, I swear to God, I did not know who that was. So I'm like, who? Like Shuri? I just didn't know, but she was going out there taking out people, I will say that. Number 12 was Alex Windsor, which is Will Ospreay's girlfriend. Once again, she came out there striking several people, which she just started like what, hitting like a blue thunder bomb then, and her and Siri started trading strikes and hitting German suplexes on each other then. So I'll admit, like, they were going out there. Like, I didn't really know who both of them really are, and I only knew one of them because they like Ospreay's girlfriend and whatnot. But they start going back and forth at it. And then it's like throughout this match, it was like people doing dives onto the floor, hitting several moves. You got Megan Bayne doing like a moonsault to everybody on the outside, and then you got Tekla and Julia Hart doing like spider, like the tarantula on the ropes, and Queen Aminata's doing the whole. I know some are gonna compare to Stephanie Vaquer with the whole knees, the devil's kiss move, except Aminata is literally taking her ass and hitting you in the face with it. At least like her ass is literally going into your face. Not a bad position to be in, by the way, too. Um, I'm sure we all would like to be in that position. I'm sure Shaggy would say that himself too. Um, but it's like everybody just mostly start brawling. It's like several moves getting hit all over the place. And I know Shirakawa, like, what is she? Like a figure four on, I don't know if it was like, I don't know who it was, I think Thunder Rosa. And out of nowhere, Athena end up hitting like where's the O face now, not the clips and whatnot, and won the match. So good for Athena. And trust me, Shaggy was very happy with this decision. I'm sure he didn't think it was gonna happen at first, but um trust me, if he's here right, if he was like part of the thing right now, he'd be very happy about this decision because he told me that
I
yesterday.
love the decision. I
I
really
agree.
did.
Like finally, get Athena off Ring of Honor purgatory, okay? I know, and I hope this isn't some one-off thing with this title shot she has now, and hopefully she can get on AEW Dynamite. Listen, I don't know how long she's been the Ring of Honor Women's Champion at this point. I don't know. I think it's over 900 days. The problem is nobody really knows half the time because nobody's watching Ring of Honor. And we barely ever see her on AEW television. If this is going to help us stay on AEW television, I'm all for it. So this was a great decision. And once again, another Texan. Like I said, she's from Texas, so that definitely popped the crowd. So it was a lot of feel good Texas moments throughout the night. So I'm definitely cool with this decision. Just I don't know if she gonna end up winning both titles because I don't know what's going on Ring of Honor or who she's even facing for that Ring of Honor Women's Championship at this point. But if she's going for the big one now, the AEW Women's one, I'm all for it. Great decision. So I'm cool with it. The match itself, kind of all over the place, just like the one from earlier, with the guys and whatnot. So trust me, I felt it was a little bit more botchier here in this one, but I'm cool with this decision though.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It was all over the place. But I wouldn't compare it to the men's one. The men's one would kind of seem like safe compared to this one because this was like chaotic. Like you said, man, Penelope Ford and what Tay Conti and all the them that come out. They weren't even a part of the match. Scott Blue tap it out. She ain't even a part of the match. Like, what is this? What's going on? Who is a part of this match or not? You know, it wasn't like the participants was told to us before. So we going into this match thinking they is she a part of the match? Oh, she not? Okay. Is she is? No, she not either. Okay, what's going on here? It was kind of confusing throughout the whole match a little bit. And it kind of threw me off. It, don't get me wrong. AEW needs to start really letting us know who they really want to push. Because Tekla, she been there. I mean, she just got there, and like they not really pushing her like they should be pushing her. It's like kind of like when Megan Bang came in, they were pushing her for a little while. They gave her that big title match, get Toni Storm. After that, it was like that's it. She in a feud with Ty Conti and Tape and Anna Jay. And like, well, okay, that's not really that's like a hard drop off. So it's like it, this was more this was more random than the men because we didn't know who they were gonna get that shit to. I
I
like the I like the men. You kind of everybody kind of figured that it was gonna be MJF or if it wasn't MJF, it probably gonna be Mark Briscoe. That's how we were looking at it because how the promos were going before the match, but this one was just random. You didn't know who was going to win, and I'm kind of glad that they gave it to Athena.
Yeah, this could have went to anybody. Because I will say this, at least this was like, okay, anybody could win this, so you didn't really know who could have won this one. This was, like I said, very less predictable and whatnot. Because even I looked at some of the people like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of contenders that you can believe that are gonna go after, the title and everything. So definitely chaotic. I do agree with you with the Megan Bang thing because now she's in a tag team with Penelope Pitstop right there, going against Anna Jay and Tay Conti and whatnot. And I just looked at the other people, like even the new ones they brought in, like I really didn't even know who they are. They were going in out there, but I really didn't know who they were. I kind of thought somebody was gonna debut from the recent releases in WWE, but like I think even Shaggy said those 90-day thing ain't up yet, so I guess that wasn't gonna happen. But at least with the contenders out there you can believe some of them were gonna win this match. So I'm fine with the decision. I'm cool with it. So I think the right woman won.
Oh, most definitely. I definitely cool with the decision. My bad.
So yeah, I agree with you. Definitely cool with the decision. But moving on after that, we go for the AEW tag titles, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually forgot this match was on the card. Given how long the show had been going, I really forgot about this. So the Hurt Syndicate come out first, and they end up performing a theme song, which did really sounded off-putting, maybe because of the audio levels or having the track play during a live performance. But they had West Side Gun and Smoke Dizza out there, and MVP's on the track too. You could literally hear one of them say when they get in the ring, like, "Hey, don't fall," because like one of them almost tripped getting into the ring. But I didn't think it sounded all that when they were trying to perform the theme song out there for the Hurt Syndicate. And they went against Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Speedball, and the Christian Coalition out there, Christian and Nick Wayne. And FTR was on commentary too throughout this match. And the fans was with the Hurt Syndicate. I'm gonna be honest, I never really believed the Hurt Syndicate was gonna lose here, given the teams they going against, because I feel like a lot of the face teams look like geeks right now. Christian being involved, I thought it was kind of weird that they were in this match to begin with. I kind of forgot why, but then given what happens after, I guess you can know why now. But
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the face teams ain't all that. Listen, I like Kevin Knight. I think there's something there, like it really is, but I never believed they were ever gonna beat the Hurt Syndicate. Like, and I like Speedball. Don't ever give that man a microphone ever again. But the thing with here's the thing. I think we've said this ever since the Hurt Syndicate ever got to AEW. They feel legit. And even I had a talk with my friend about this yesterday compared to everybody in this match. The Hurt Syndicate look like a big deal. They look like stars. They are stars. They feel like a big deal within this company. Like they really do. I do still feel like it's a little bit weird with Bobby Lashley because we always talked about how they weren't really treated that well in WWE and everything, but it's kind of crazy that okay, so MJF's going for the world title. Didn't we all want Bobby Lashley to go for the world title and that be in a tag title thing? I think Shelton Benjamin should be going for like a mid card title. I don't know, like I feel like Lashley should be going for the world championship and that being the tag team thing. And I don't know, just something about that. I feel like they should be going against them. And the thing with the tag teams is, what tag teams are really believable to even beat the Hurt Syndicate? Like, who's really believable here? Like, seriously. And we get to it. I'll say this too. Nick Wayne and Speedball were taking some crazy bumps out there by the way too, especially like that Doomsday thing. I thought Nick Wayne was actually hurt for a second when they landed on the floor, so I thought that was pretty crazy. They were doing some big moves and stuff. And, towards the end of the match, I know Lashley was starting to kind of argue back and forth with FTR and kind of pushing him to the ground then. Christian tried to get a kill switch on him, but Lashley, he pushed Christian into the FTR, and then Lashley hit the spear, and they won. So I am not surprised that they won the still retaining the tag titles. I don't know. I just never believed the Hurt Syndicate was gonna lose. Like I just couldn't believe in other teams. Like I really couldn't. And then again, if you look at the other legit teams they got right now on the roster, a lot of them are heels. All the face teams look like geeks.
Well, I thought by using the fatal threat I mean not the fatal the triple threat rules. I thought that you can still take the belts off of them without them getting pinned. You know what I'm saying? You know somebody could distract them, or FTR was out there. You could have distracted them or something. You could. You could use FTR to turn the face. I mean, to turn the Hurt Syndicate face anyway, because that's what they are anyway. People are cheering for them. They are not booing them. So that could have been a good, a good feud. They screwed about the title. Now they want to hurt them. Now I guess they kind of suck in this heel role because they gotta, you know, they the next storyline is helping FJF win the world championship. So that's what their role is gonna be, until he win the world championship. But at the same time, though, I thought they could have used that to get the belts off of them, take them away from the tag team scene for a little while until you got a team that can really go against them. Right now, they handcuffing the tag team division. It ain't because of people want to book them. It's because who else you got? As a face team that could go against them. Everybody look like little scrawny little nerds out there that compared to them. So it's like you can't really do that. I don't, I don't know where they gonna go from here. I think FTR next, and I don't know how you gonna book that feud, that program. I don't know how you gonna do it, but let's see how they go do it. But yeah, like you said, there wasn't really no real danger of the tag team title being lost because guess who they were going against? You know,
Yeah, even that attack they did on Dynamite last week, it's just like you just even I was like, okay, so her syndicate is just gonna kill all these guys on Saturday. Then that's what I kind of thought about the whole thing. So I just never really believed they were gonna lose. Like, yeah, they could have did something where they wasn't gonna get pinned, but no, they just went over and yeah, they still retain the tag titles. Then so there you go. And then after they left, FTR got in the ring, looked like they were about to attack Christian, and then like Nick Wayne and that other guy Kip Sabian, I think they got in and had a chair, and Christian was like, "No, no, no, let's go." But then Nick Wayne ended up taking out Christian in, and they were about the concerto. Which, by the way, let me say this: everybody's saying like, "Oh, well, Christian just turned face, and Nick Wayne and them are heels." First off, wouldn't these guys be the faces, given that Christian has been kind of just talking bad about them and pushing them around and talking about Nick Wayne and talking about his mom and I'm like, wouldn't these guys kind of be the faces in a way, given how Christian has treated them and talked bad about them and kept trying to, fuck them over and stuff? So it's like, wouldn't they technically be faces by standing up to Christian? Since he's
yeah,
talking about his dead dad all the time? Like, you're talking about his parent that's dead and then talk about how you're fucking his mom? Like, wouldn't wouldn't they be the faces?
and then here's the thing too, Bryce. I was just piggyback on what you just said. I was wondering how they were going to do this anyway, and so when Adam came out with when Adam Copeland came out, I was thinking to myself like, is he gonna really help him and all that stuff? But here's the thing: you could have a redemption storyline. You can't have him just turn heel to face that quickly because the people that he was picking on turned on him. No, they would get you could really say they got tired of him picking on them, and he got what he deserved. There ain't no turn. He got what he deserved. I can't turn him right away. I think he should go through a redemption storyline. People not really helping him. He get it beat in matches. People beating him up constantly, to see what he used to do to other people, and that's how you do it. You just can't not. He not a face now. They truly not a face now. He's still a heel, and that's it. The other heels are just more mega heels now. I wouldn't say they faces anyway because how they did it, it was like a jumping situation. You know what I'm saying? So, and and they were about to take them out. So I would really put them in a face category either because they were just about to take the man out. There ain't no face thing at all. So they just wore heels, and he's still a heel until, like I said, until they come up with a redemption storyline.
Yeah, because I just looking like when just looking at it first, I just felt like I was like, why should we have sympathy for Christian in a way? I was like, wait, why are we having sympathy for him? Like, he's been messing with these people for a while pretty badly. So I was like, I couldn't really feel bad for him at first. And then, right after you got Edge coming out there with like the Spike Janice thing. Some say he kind of pulled Jeff Hardy instead of just immediately running to the ring and like helping Christian. It's like he had to come out and do his whole entrance with the pyro and stuff. And, kind of slap hands a little and everything as everybody just kind of stand. Because, yeah, he comes in and just takes out everybody and spears FTR and hits like the board off the chair thing on Nick Wayne and stuff, and FTR and Nick Wayne and them end up running off, and then Edge, he ended up help Christian up to his feet, and instead of saying "go fuck yourself" like Christian told him, he said "go find yourself" and
And
left after that.
that's what I was hinting at a little bit right there. The redemption storyline, because that what he said to go find yourself. It what he gonna probably go through is a whole bunch of stuff that people what he used to do to people gonna do to him until Edge decides like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna help you, and help him out. But other than that, yeah, I yeah, with that whole him taking so long to get to the ring, I was thinking to myself, man, one of my guys that take that long after I get it. But first off, I I got whooped in this ring before you even came out here. And then you gonna take your happy ass time before you help me out, man. You ain't one of the guys no more. I'm blocking you. I don't even I don't even know you no more.
It's
But
like
yeah, what you say?
it's like Jeff Hardy when he came out there and danced to the ring, and he took so long to help Matt and them with the chair. Like Jeff took forever. I gotta do my dance, folks. Like my brother and them getting beat up, but I'm gonna do my entrance first.
But overall, like you said, the match was okay, and nobody really thought that the Hurt Syndicate were gonna lose the titles. The post match angle was was to set up Christian you know not Christian heel turn, but they to set up they turn on Christian. Um, that's all I gotta really say about it. You know, kind of like I said, I'm intrigued of seeing what they're gonna do with Christian, and I see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, like I said, it's probably gonna be Edge and Christian versus FTR at some point, but a lot of angles really being set up on this show. I will say that too. Definitely a lot of angles. So, like I said, the tag match, like I said, was kind of whatever. It's about what happened after the match that was more important with Edge returning. But moving on from that, now we finally get to the triple main event part of the show, which even I felt was kind of taking forever with Mercedes Monet, the TBS champion, and a whole bunch of other title belts, who came out. I guess like you got that Eddie Guerrero type entrance, a lot of Eddie Guerrero influences throughout this show tonight. But coming out with the lowrider, with the cheerleaders and whatnot, and having like a whole bunch of names of all the people she's beat in AEW, undefeated still, coming to the ring. Um, Going against Timeless Tony Storm for the AEW Women's title, which Tony Storm, had the whole, like the Noir film 1940, almost like Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego in a way. And this match, this was a great match. Definitely enjoyed it. It made me think of who was really about to win here, because I'm gonna be honest. And I was actually quite surprised about this. I was actually surprised Tony Storm even won. I was actually kind of surprised. And I did enjoy the match. I know a lot of people are gonna bring up the spot with Tombstone thing, with what was it with Monet and Tony Storm, like how she reversed out of it, and then like she tried to eat her out after that, and then it got reversed into like an ankle lock. Then so I saw people bring that up. I know Luther was involved in the match, which Storm kept using like as an assist until Monet did the whole the Meteora thing onto her. She ended up doing like the Three Amigos in on the Tony Storm, even doing like the frog splash, but Tony putting the knees up and then doing like a big cradle and several German suplexes was pretty big. One thing I did not like about this match, and even I almost thought it could have been a finish, I'm sorry, but if you're doing like 3 Storm 0s in a row and it's still a kick out, I kind of rolled my eyes at that spot. It's like, and this is like consecutive. This is like, take your time. It's like you like did 3 straight in a row, and I'm like, that wasn't the finish? Like, really? That wasn't even the finish? And I know they kind of start stealing each other's moves then after that, and whatnot, trying to do each other's finishers and stuff, and still trying to go for roll ups without the match. Mercedes trying to go for the bank statement. I'm sorry, the statement maker, not bank statement, but Storm ended up going for the ropes then. Mercedes tried to pin her, still a kick out. I know Storm ended up going for like another hip attack into the corner then. Fans chanted this was awesome. And then they got onto the ropes then after that. But Storm was able to get out of it. Almost like giving Mercedes like a kiss of death thing after that. And then hit a Storm 0 off the top rope and got the 3 count and still retained the AEW Women's Championship. So yeah, Toni Storm went over. I thought this was a great match. Like I said, I just didn't like the whole 3 Storm 0s in a row and still a kick out. I rolled my eyes about that. And I guess I don't have to say it doesn't work for me, brother. Or hey, it doesn't work for me, sister. Creative control. I will say this too, because and unless I'm sure we would have had a big debate over this if Shaggy was here. But I'll ask this question, and since it's involved in the match too, like add on to it, what do you think about Tony Khan now trying to say like she doesn't have creative control. Like, she never did. Like, I make the final decisions now. So, just wanted to add that in. So, your thoughts?
Uh, even if even if she had creative control, yeah, I don't think he would have flat out said it. Came out and said it. So, of course, you would say something like that. I had the final say. Of course, if even if she did have creative control, you would have flat out say that she did.
And
So
she
I
stayed
don't.
on video.
I mean, she said it, of course, but at the same time, I, at the same time, we all take wrestler word with a grain of salt. While we taking her word like it was gospel. We all take wrestler word with a grain of salt. We all do. We ain't no ifs ands or buts about it. Some of these work shoot promos be out here. Some of these shoot promos really they some of these stories don't even be believable sometimes. So of course, I took it with a grain of salt. Like the TMC came and asked her, "Oh man, do you got creative control?" And she said, "Yeah." I kind of roll my eyes at it. I'm like, whatever. I don't. I believe it until I see it, type of thing. You know, and then here's the thing with her with creative control though. I think everybody's saying it because her matches her matches go her way, most of the time. It's like she goes over, most of the time. So of course people gonna say, "Hey man, does this girl got creative control? I mean, why she going over most of the time? Why she ain't, why she ain't losing? And I think mostly what her creative control is mostly in the matches, like how many moves she gonna take, how many moves she going to take for you to even make it into a believable match. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like the 3 Storm 0. I think that's a part of the creative control. If you ask me, like you gotta hit me with all these moves first before you put me down. That type of thing. That's what I really think. What the creative control part come from. But other than that, what to say about the match? The match was okay. I mean, I'm not okay. Very good. Very good. I loved it. Except for the 3 Storm 0s. I just did it. I felt like you could have spread it out throughout the match. Like you hit her with one Storm 0 and she kicked out, and then you continue on with the match. And then you hit her with another one. She kicked out. Like, damn it, what I supposed to do to put her down? Then you hit her with the ultimate Storm 0 off the top rope. Bam. Then that's when you. My bad, I'm over here knocking down the mic. Got too excited. But then you hit her with the ultimate one, and bam. Then hit her off the top rope. And then that's how I thought you should have done it. You know what I'm saying? That's not no 3 in a row that she kicked out. Like that kind of make the torn. First of all, the Storm 0 is a power driver. For everybody who listening, the Storm Zero is a power driver, which was once banned, from many promotions until until probably like 20 years ago, except for the WWE, just now started doing it a few years ago. But it was like y'all kind of making it seem like this is just a transitional move. Not a transitional move, but not even a transitional move. It's just a move, like a DDT now. You know what I'm saying? Like, bam, DDT. 1, 2, 3. I mean, 1, 2 kick out. It's like, hold on. This is a power driver. You hit her with 3 power drivers. And then you are not even that, Bryce. Remember, she already hit her with the Storm Zero after she hit her with the hip attack.
Yeah, that's true.
So she not only that, so you hit her with 4 Storm Zero before you hit her with the ultimate Storm Zero. Then that's when I say that's the part when I say, yeah, that's creative control, a little bit, because that's like looking at it like on some Hulk Hogan type of stuff. You gotta hit them with so many moves to put them down. That's how I looked at it. Yeah, and what if they have a rematch? What we gonna do now? You hit it with 5 Zeros to have to to get it to put it down. What you gonna do? Hit it with 10? Like,
I'll say this, like, and crazy, like, remember many months ago when fucking, what was it, Kyle Fletcher doing a tombstone or like a power drive on the steel steps, and Ospreay still kicking out and going like another 15 minutes? Like, wasn't that like back in November and we talked about that?
yeah, I remember that.
So it's like, yeah, the power driver sometimes it's like, I think we said this many months ago, like Kevin Owens does one power drive on Randy Orton, he's gone for like 6 months. Ospreay can still go another 20 minutes.
Right. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, a lot of a lot of the matches. I mean, not a lot of the matches, but the matches going forward is going to feel like that. A lot of times that the matches supposed to have went home, but they still going, and it's like, certain moves supposed to be the ending. The ending of the match, and then we can't really count on finishers to finish the match anymore. We looking for the person to kick out once. Once they did, they finish it once or twice.
Yes. I will ask you this. Were you surprised that Toni went over or no?
Not really. It was one of those matches that it could have went either way. I thought that, I wanted Toni to win. Don't get me wrong, but I thought that it could have been Mercedes winning her eighth title, but at the same time it could have just been, they could have just not want to put an eighth title on her and then have her mix the you know let me say this. I don't know if you was really paying attention to the commentary throughout the bill, but they kept on calling it the big title, the big title, the big title. They kept calling it that. So I don't think they wanted to mix in their title with her other collection. That's how I feel. I don't think they didn't want to mix in their big title with all the little titles that she got. That's how they would look. That's how they were saying it. That I ain't trying to make it sound like that, but that's exactly how they were making it sound uh, throughout the whole build to this feud. They called it the big title, so I don't think they wanted to mix in.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I guess with the other championships from the other promotions, but then again, she does have the TBS title too. They have to make like hey, this is the real big one. No, this is the main one. All those other ones, it's like, yeah, they from different promotions, but it's like whatever in a way, I guess. To some, like, to an extent, this is like the big one. So I can kind of see a point where it's like you don't want to put the bigger one, even though she is holding the AEW title in general herself right now, the TBS one. But I kind of understand what you're saying. And I'll say this one other thing too. Like I said, with the, great match. With the whole creative control thing, it's like, yeah, maybe she doesn't have it. Because, like, yeah, have we really seen a contract that says she has creative control? No, I don't think any wrestler should have creative control. Like, we should have learned that from Hogan and WCW. I do believe there's influence, though. I think she has a big influence that
A
works.
huge influence. Don't get me
Because
wrong.
Because here's the thing, and it's like I said earlier with the Beast Muertos. It's like it's kind of funny that this dude wasn't really nowhere in all these main event matches on Dynamite, which this guy was like what on Collision losing a lot of times. But then the second now we find out like, oh, you dating her now. Now all of a sudden you at the main event and involved with the main event guys. Like that don't really tell you nothing. Like I think there's some influence or maybe she convinced him like, yeah, you got to put him in the main. Like I said, it's like a reverse Triple H thing. It's not like you're not fucking the boss's daughter or anything, but you messing with a star. So it's like you dating a woman with some pretty powerful influence in this company. So that's what I mean by the influence thing. Like, come on, where was the Beast Muertos in any of all this till he started dating, going out with her?
Right, that's true. Don't get me wrong. Like I believe she got heavy influence, and um, I think most of them in that company got heavy influence. If you look at how some of their stories go,
Oh yeah, it's a lot
you
of
know,
people in there.
it's a lot of them that I really don't think it's really too much. Let me take this back. I don't really think it's too much heavy influence. I really think that Tony really don't have you know, the I don't know how to say it without this sounding
I've already
disrespectful.
heard several people say it, so might as well go ahead.
He don't have a spine.
Yep,
It
there
seems
you
like
go.
he don't have a spine to say, "Hey, this don't sound right." Why, Moxley? Why are you locking my beautiful world title in your briefcase, Moxley? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Mercedes, why are you holding all these titles? Why are we taking all these titles away from people and a promotion? How are you going to get them back? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to lose to these people or they promotion? That's how. And so if not, now you put me in a predicament that I got a book and I got to book a way for you to lose all these titles because you gotta lose them at one point and stuff like that. He gotta say something, man, and say, hey, man, this stuff don't make any type of sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, but go ahead.
Yeah, I could, because I was gonna say even Edge. We talked about this with the whole Double or Nothing, not Double or Nothing, but Revolution several months ago about him not really taking any type of pinfalls.
There we go. Stuff like that. Stuff like that. He going to have to say, hey, man, it's my company, bro. Who name on that check with y'all that that I signed. That's my name. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna have to say something like that. Hey, some of this stuff don't make sense. This is what we're gonna do. And I'm afraid that Bryce. To be honest with you, I think even if he don't have a spine or not, even if he do have one or not, he probably agree with most of this stuff. Like we probably think it like he shouldn't agree because it don't make sense, but he probably agree with most of this stuff, and he probably think this stuff do sound good. I don't know. Probably
Yeah,
do think this stuff sound good to him.
I think it does because he's gonna listen. I think he's easily gonna listen to them. Okay, like even we say what Punk was there, like people probably should have known he didn't have a spine of how he didn't handle, he didn't handle the Punk situation well, and he gave a lot of come on, he gave Punk the world. Okay, he was trying to give him the world to make sure he didn't leave. So it's like, yeah, he's gonna listen to a lot of these people. Okay, so I do believe that. So like a lot of people do have creative input, so a lot of them do have heavy influence in that company to get with the stuff what they're doing. Like, look how bad the Death Rider stuff is. We know this, and this is the last thing I'll say. Like, I know we throw around the word, when it comes to creative control, and I think we talked about this the other day about people saying, "Oh, Mercedes Hogan, Becky Hogan, Sammy Hogan, Edge Hogan." It's like, listen, even with Mercedes Hogan, it's kind of like this. At Hogan, at least Hogan drew a lot of money and was one of the biggest stars and wrestling. So it's like, do any of these people really come to the level? Because like at least with even though he shouldn't have had creative control, he was really the biggest name in wrestling during that time period.
None of you guys draw in the type of money that he drew in. And like you just said, that don't justify for him having it, but it kind of does a little bit because if if you gonna keep drawing me this money, I'm probably gonna listen to your ideas and see how they gonna go. But yeah, none of these guys draw in that type of money.
So yeah, they're not really bringing it in like that. So yeah, we could say creative control, but at the end of the day, like you said earlier, we don't know that fully. We got, like I said, we're like I said, wrestlers are gonna do what they say to work us half the time and stuff. So yeah, we could say it, but I just thought it was interesting that Tony it kind of said like, "Yo, hey man, she doesn't have no creative control." I'm like, no, you could have nipped this in the bud a while ago. Like, dude, we know you listen to the internet, you be on Twitter trying to go back and forth with people all the time. So just kind of makes you wonder to some extent with a lot of this. But like I said, overall, this is a great match. Tony won, so I guess we'll probably see her and Athena in the future then. But next, moving on to the next double main event is a New Japan rematch. And listen, if you've seen any of their matches before, like I have seen, and trust me and Shaggy would have a lot to say about this. Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. Listen, we have seen the matches from Wrestle Kingdom to Dominion to the G1, twice at Dominion, by the way, if you've seen the 65-minute match. But that was back in what, 2018 for the IWGP World Championship. So I figured, like, I think we knew this match was going to happen a while ago since Worlds. And honestly, I felt like this could have been for the actual World Championship between both of these guys. Okay. If you know their history and you watched all their matches in New Japan, you know how this is going to go. Like, and this was a match I was really looking forward to, obviously. First off, let's say, too, Jim Ross was back on commentary. Great to see Jim Ross and that he has beaten cancer once again. I know was it pancreatic cancer? No, colon cancer, which just great to see him even beat that. That man deserves a standing ovation just to even be out here. So I'm glad he's healthy again and he's cancer free, and just him back on commentary. So great for Jim Ross. But yes, Okada versus Omega for both the Continental and the AEW AEW international and continental championship. So I will say this about this match. I think this was a big match. I definitely enjoyed it. Am I going to compare it to the past matches? No. Obviously it's going to be a little bit different. The last time both of these guys faced each other was in 2018. So I'm not expected to go another 2 out of 3 falls, 65-minute type of thing out here, but this was a big deal. Like I said, I enjoyed it. I know Callis was on commentary, getting involved in the match several times. I know Kota Ibushi was out there when Omega's corner. Like, I know some gonna say it started a little bit maybe slow at first, but the fans were definitely into this with the entrances. Omega, I'm not the biggest fan of his new theme song. I know some people like it, some people don't, but I think the entrance was pretty cool with like the fire, like all the fire around him with the Omega sign and the guy that was singing it out there too. So that was pretty good. I was low-key expecting him to come out to his New Japan theme song again, just to fit the whole atmosphere. Like, hey, this is like Wrestle Kingdom again almost. So this was on a big stage. Like I said, I know it was a lot of big back and forth, especially with the drop kicks and multiple what was it going like for the Rainmaker, but being countered into a V trigger then, which was pretty crazy. I know Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta tried to get involved. I know Ibushi was helping at ringside and stuff. And Omega was just trying to kill Okada with the V trigger several times, but Okada was able to get out of it, hit the big leaping tombstone. I thought that was pretty cool, and even going for a Rainmaker for the near fall, which was crazy. Omega ended up dodging the clothesline again, and then like put him in like the whole electric chair thing, going for the one wing angel, but then slipped into the front, hits a big big German suplex, which was pretty cool too. Right after that, I know what Callis tried to get involved. Okada trying to go for the Rainmaker. Omega got out of it, hit the big V trigger once again, almost like a rain trigger knee strike. Going for the one wing angel again out there. Had the pin, but Callis pulled the referee out then. Next thing you know, they send Don Stevens, the referee, out there next. Omega hit another V trigger after that. Went for the finisher again, but Okada got out of it, hit another Rainmaker for the near fall then. Both of them started trading strikes near the end of it. Okada was setting up the finisher. Um, Callis, Callis ended up pulling the like kind of distracting the referee once again, which Okada ended up hitting the big landslide fall on, which was kind of crazy the way he was got a twisted Omega hitting that ball. So it ended up hitting perfect. with the landslide. It didn't hit the Rainmaker on him one more time for the 3 count. So, Okada ended up beating Omega again. Yes, it was kind of about like a distraction finish almost, giving Cal the family got involved. So, I don't know if I would say it was clean all the way and whatnot, but I think this was still a great match. Okay, this was still a really big match. Like I said, if you know the history of it, I don't know if you're gonna say if it was the best out of their last 4 matches, but this was still a great addition to it. The only thing I will say that didn't really count into the finish, given how they've been building this match, was I'm surprised they didn't try to cheat by well, they still kind of cheated, but Okada somehow, taking out Omega in the stomach again because of the whole diverticulitis stuff and whatnot. So I'm surprised I didn't play into the finish of this all the way, but it had Callis getting involved several times. So I think they will run this match back at some point. I think that it's going to run it back at a point in time. But I definitely enjoyed it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I very much enjoyed it. They gave Kenny out by having him, because that was a screwy finish. Because he pulled the referee out. Once that referee got pulled out, then you could see how screwy the match, the match was after that. So they gave Kenny out. And this was a very good match, man. Hard hitting too, man. The old rainmakers, my goodness, they hate makers. That's what he should be calling them. My goodness, you heard him. Wow. I'm like, shit. It's his head is still attached to his shoulders. Man, but yeah, it was a good match. Very good match. I definitely agree. This is coming from a guy who I never saw any of their previous work because, I didn't watch New Japan. This is like, so everybody, I'm glad that AEW did a very good job catching me up, a viewer like me, and catching me up to what they did before. Throughout this whole feud, they kept on catching us up with video packages. So that was a good job by AEW making this match feel as big as possible. But well, it delivered. It was a very good match. Let's see what Okada gonna do with the championship. I do want to say one thing to the idiotic fans who don't know, to people who don't understand what unify means, because they kept on just you had people kept on saying, "Oh man, is this going to be bigger than the world championship, or is it going to be as big as the world championship?" It's not a undisputed championship. It's a unified championship. They unified the 2 mid card belts into 1 mid card belt. That's what unification means. For
Yeah,
those fans who didn't understand.
it's literally a new belt. So yeah, and I'll say this: I know people talked about Okada and his time in AEW of how, which I've said it before, he's kind of been coasting, and which I don't kind of blame him, given him being top dog in New Japan for damn near 12 years. So hey, he's getting paid, but I do believe a lot of it was coasting, and some people believe he wasn't trying. I think it look at it like work smarter and not harder. But I think you definitely got the money's worth tonight out of him. Okay, when it's Okada versus Omega, you got to turn it up like it's New Japan again, okay? So I think both of them really turned it up right here. So like I said, I know a lot of people say Okada is kind of lazy with this. I think he had his working shoes on tonight, okay? So, like I say, if you know the history of their matches, because I think now it's like 2-2. If I'm looking, this is the 5th match, so it's 2-2 because Okada had the first one, second one was a draw. Omega got the next one, and then Omega got the next one after that. That was the last one they did. So now Okada has this one. So 2-2, and given it all the distractions and all this and Callis, they gonna run it back to see who gonna hit that tiebreaker. So it's gonna happen again at some point. So I definitely enjoyed it. We have to see Jim Ross back on commentary again, by the way.
Oh, most definitely. I was glad to see Jim Ross. He beat cancer. That's what's up, man. Can't take the man out. That's what's up. Hey, I was
It's
glad to
tough.
hear him again. Hey, one thing though I do want to say about JR. Oh my goodness, you can't take the sarcasm out of him. You can't. I'm telling you, we're gonna get to it once we start talking about the Moxley match and stuff. But he did say this one little line I did want to I want to say. He said in the beginning of the Moxley match. He said, "Yeah, these Texas death matches used to be, you know, real big back in the day. You know, they used to have real contenders like Terry Funk. It's like the things he say, Bryce. It's like the things he say. You looking like, are you trying to say these guys ain't worthy enough to have the Texas death match? That's what you trying to say? Because that's what I got from it." You know, that's exactly what I got from that. I'm like, wow, JR, damn, you just shitted on everybody in this match instantly. You know?
Because
Oh my god.
let's move on to that match right now. Because man, there's a lot to say about this main event. Because I'm be honest, I didn't even really think it needed to be a Texas death match. Because even I was like, did we really doing a Texas death match for the main event for the world title? Like, has it really
Can I say
garnered
this
up
one
to that?
thing?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Before you go on. Nah, I think they really had the Texas death match because the other person with creative control didn't want to lose clean. I swear to you, I don't think he wanted to lose clean. So he had the Texas death match so he could go ahead and lose with this little screwy fashion where everybody jump in and you have all these weapons. So he have a little out that he lost the match and he didn't lose it clean. That's what I really think they had the Texas death match for.
Yeah, I could say that, even though we've seen Moxley matches with like several interferences now at this point, but I guess they was like, okay, I'm not really gonna lose clean here since it's anything goes and whatnot. Because let's get into it. I will say this with the entrances, Hangman with like the whistle and the guitar entrance was really good. It's like some Red Dead Redemption type of thing. And he actually had his old theme song back too. So they brought that back again, which got a big pop from the crowd. Moxley and them came out on some Ford pickup truck and everything that looked like a custom vehicle, I guess. And they got out of the car with him and Shafir headed to the ring. Like Kid, Yuta, and Claudio stayed back. And immediately when this match began, like they're all which this is Moxley, so he's gonna bleed, which legitimately got, stabbed in the head with a fork immediately as soon as this match even began, tackled to the ground. Like you could see the blood, like it's legit. So he's getting stabbed in the head, okay, with a fork. And then Hangman's got like a barbed wire in the corner, and they're like wrapping each other around their faces and eye and stuff. So, like I said, you already know how this is gonna go. And then Moxley wrapping the barbed wire around Page's head and eyes and stuff, saying like, champion of the fucking world and stuff. So, already, like I said, we're not even 2 minutes into this, and it was already a bloodfest. But once again, this is Moxley involved, and then again, Hangman too, since he's been in a lot of these Texas death matches. So you know how it's gonna go. We got barbed wire chairs into the corner, and stuff, which I think was it paging up, throwing Moxley into it if I'm not mistaken, and even grabbing the chair and swung it at Moxley, which Mox ducked and everything, and then I think like he kicked the chair and like Hangman's head and everything, which is pretty crazy. Um, no, no, I thought I heard something else, but it was like a beep sound for a second. But no, moving on though. Like I said, like he kicks him with the chair and everything. Um, what else did we bring? Cause like, it's a lot of glass, of course. Hey, look, real glass, because Marie and Shafir had like a bucket put in the ring. We got glass in there, and Paige ended up back dropping Moxley into the glass and like rolling him around into the glass. Even Moxley had dropped Hangman to the glass then, which by the way, Moxley did a pile driver on the Hangman into the glass. So crazy stuff here, folks. And even more chairs get involved in the match. And I'm trying to remember all the crazy stuff within this match then, but we had like more barbed wire into there. They put barbed wire around their heads, trying to headbutt back and forth each other with. Hangman into like falling to the ropes, kind of falling. They get the chairs in the ring back to back, right? And I think Hangman grabbed Moxley and power bombed him onto the chair sitting up. So that had to be freaking painful. And then Yuta is in the ring then, and he hits Hangman in the back with a chair. Page no sold it, and then like hit him with like the barbed wire around his arm. So takes out Yuta. Hits the Angel's wings, Christopher Daniels finisher onto Moxley onto the chair and whatnot. Shafir gets back involved, but Paige ended up grabbing her. By the way, there's chairs on the outside, and ended up doing like a big Death Valley driver on the Marina Shafir onto those tables on the floor. So they killed her for several minutes. Claudio's in the ring. Like I said, this is where we get more run-ins in. Claudio's in the ring. Yuta's in the ring. They're going after Hangman. They're setting up more tables to the ground, onto the floor. Will Ospreay comes out, tries to help. Gabe Kidd takes out Ospreay, puts him in a guillotine. Pile drivers on him to the floor. So they packed up Ospreay. He's up out of here by the EMT, so he's done. I was kind of wondering where Swerve was at for a second, but then you got to remember, Swerve said he wasn't going to really help out Hangman. Let's remember that, given the history. So Moxley, he's got Hangman on the apron then, and then suplex him through like the barbed wire tables, and then puts him in the bulldog choke, which I thought this was kind of stupid for a second. But then again, I have to remember this is a Texas death match, so this works like a last man standing match. Because at first I'm like, why did you let go of the hold? He could have tapped out, but then I have to remember like, yeah, last man standing, last man standing. And he's kind of celebrating for a second, which Hangman beat the count, so he's back up then. And he clotheslined Paige after that. And, Claudio, they get a plastic bag then. But then next thing you know, Darby Allin. We finally got footage from him from Mount Everest, by the way. But I thought he was going to hit the ring first. He says, I went to the top of the world, and now I'm going to take yours away. Next thing you know, Bryan Danielson comes in the ring with like a lucha mask on and whatnot, hits the running knee on the Yuta. Like Danielson gets a mega pop out there, multiple yes chants all over the place, hits a dive on the Claudio and everything, doing the yes kicks and whatnot. Darby Allin came from the top of the well, by the way, this is a long ass fall, like staying from the rafters and stuff, which he somewhat kind of slowly got there till he can get the harness off then, but he got a big pop then and goes after Moxley, hits the coffin drop onto everybody to the outside. Danielson and you know, um wow, I can't mind slipping. Darby right there. End up, fighting off Yuta and, Gabe Kidd and them all the way to the back then. Paige hits the buckshot onto Moxley then after that and everything. But, Paige still not sorry, Moxley still got up. Paige hit a dead eye onto Moxley to the floor, the tables then. Next thing you know, the Young Bucks get hit the ring then. They hit a double super kick onto Hangman in after that, helping out Moxley. By the way, Shafir's back up. And this is where I feel like this is one of the stupidest spots of the night, which they put a bed of nails in, folks. A bed of nails into the ring. And Moxley literally you know, curb stomps Hangman onto the bed of nails, which probably would have put somebody's eye out, and then hits the Death Rider DDT, which even I have to say, like, I'm sorry, but even the match should have been over after that. And he's getting up after the 10 count, like, all right, this is where it's like, okay, it's getting a little bit more stupider and stupider, but I kind of expected this to happen. So somehow Hangman got up after this. And then Moxley told Shafir, which this is a little bit stupid too, like, I want Hangman to see the title so he never sees it again. So he sends her to go get the title out of the briefcase, which next thing you know, she's handcuffed to like the barricade. Thanks to Prince Nana, by the way, who handcuffed Shafir to it. And then Swerve shows up with a chain, takes out the Young Bucks, throws the chain into the ring to Hangman, shakes his head and everything. So Swerve is helping him out then. And then Hangman took the chain wrap, the chain and everything. It's a buckshot onto Moxley, onto the bed of nails, and then took the chain, put it around his neck, and start hanging him then. And Moxley tapped out, and Hangman Page is now the AEW World Champion. So I look at it like this. You're either going to like this match or you're going to hate this match then. And the big celebration happened. Swerve shaking his head in approval with his arms crossed. And all the pyro came out. And now we finally took the title out the briefcase. So the AEW World Championship is back. We haven't seen it since October, I believe. So yes, Hangman got the big win here after an almost 7.5 hour show, folks. So thoughts on the main event, because that was a lot to unpack there.
Oh, my thoughts?
Yes.
It was a piece of crap. That's all I have to say. It was crap. It was crap for the word go. As soon as like you just said, as soon as the match started, they just poking each other in the head with forks. Like, are we serious? Already right off the back, near all the ridiculous things they kicked out of, and nothing get more ridiculous than kicking out of any move that you get your body slammed into a whole bed of nails, and the bed of nails has to be heavy because it took both of them to take both him and Shafir to put the dang old thing inside the ring. Like, come on, man! It was just ridiculous. Only things I liked about the match, it was Daniel Bryan return because that's my boy, Bryan Danielson. I love that boy. He one of my favorite wrestlers, so of course got a pop for me. And Darby Allin coming back. Other than that, everybody can kiss my ass because that was, oh my god, that was a bad match. That was just a bad match, bro. I wouldn't even say gruesome or anything because this is what I expected because they said it was a death match and this was AEW do. So I expected that, but my goodness, it was just bad, man. It was just a bad match.
And let me say this too. I will say this with Hangman. This was not my first choice. I never really believed he was gonna be the guy to actually beat Moxley for the title. I will admit, yes, he has gotten over with the crowd and whatnot. I still personally think Ospreay should have been the guy to take the title off him, or Darby Allin, but Darby wanted to go climb a mountain, so that was. But I expected him to return to this show today. Um, I still think Ospreay should have been the guy. I really believe that. Because I go all the way back when it was Double or Nothing and everything. And I know we heard about the story about like one didn't really want to put the other one over, which I get that y'all want to put each other over and feel like y'all should, this guy deserves it more. But it's like, hey, one of y'all got to win, okay? And Toni, it's like I said, the final decision is on Toni, but I still think Ospreay really should have been the guy. I really believed it was gonna be him or Darby. I just really didn't believe in Hangman like that. I didn't. And I know there's some other people that, have brought up to me like this has nothing to do with the whole CM Punk situation or anything. That's been done. It's gone. We already know Hangman was the catalyst to that. Like that's whatever at this point. I just felt like I just couldn't see it with him. I just didn't. I'll admit he got really over with the fans again. Like I get the redemption story they were going for and stuff. Like I'd understand that. I just never believed he was really the guy to do it. I just didn't. Like I just really didn't. I thought it was gonna be Ospreay or Darby. I really thought it was gonna be one of them to be the guy to take the title off of Moxley there. But they wanted a feel good moment to end off the show tonight because there's a lot of feel good moments in this show, but they wanted that.
And they did a good job with that feel good moment. They did a good job with all throughout the whole night of giving the fans some feel good moment. They gave they gave Tony the win. They gave Hangman the win. They gave Dustin the win. So it was a lot of feel good moments throughout this whole show. You know, um, and not to take it away from the match, if people like that type of stuff, I can't really take it, take nothing away from them. If you like it, that's cool with me. But to me, that was a bad match, and I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't really, it ain't nothing about I'm not enjoying, hardcore matches or death matches or anything like that. I enjoy those type of matches where they done right. I would just, to be honest with you, I would watch the NXT Great American Bash as while we were doing the paper. I mean, while we were doing this review and everything, and I felt like the Ricky Starks and Ethan Page had a better hardcore whatever match you want to call it, that type of match where with a lot of weapons involved in it. I thought they had a better one than what they did because I just think they wanted to put so much stuff in that they kind of lost me with a lot of things like getting power drive on top of glass, Um, a lot of weapon based situations that I didn't really agree with that should have been match enders. But and like I said, if people like that type of stuff, like you said, you gonna hate it or love it. And I'm more towards the hated part.
Yeah, and I just felt this was just kind of going to levels of CZW levels of just random, bullshit being I felt like random hardcore spots because I just think that nail stuff looked really stupid. I just really thought it did, like the nail thing. I'm not surprised out of the whole fork and the glass thing. And listen, I get it was gonna be a bloody brawl out there. I expected it. Like, did you think that this title match really needed to garner a Texas death match?
No, because this ain't first time ever had any type of interaction. So why we need to go jump the gun like that?
Well,
I
well,
didn't understand it.
well. To kind of not to cut you off, but you have to remember. I think Hangman and Moxie have been. If you remember Revolution, was it over a few years ago and whatnot? Then they already have a Texas death match before.
All right, my bad. Then but in this type of interaction, then it's talk about this interaction. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no type of build to this. It was like Heyman won the Oil Cup, won the right to face Moxley. Then all of a sudden, they had a few interactions, a few promos, and then all of a sudden, oh man, I want you in a death match. It just didn't garner a death match. It just did it.
I think Tony wanted to, no pun intended. He really wanted to go all in with as much as he could for this pay-per-view. Like he really wanted to go all in, but I just like we're really doing a Texas death match for the world title. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like I knew the run-ins was gonna happen. Like I'm not surprised by that. It's happened in every Moxley match anyways. I thought it was kind of crazy. Ospreay got packed up so easily and got up out of there. Like they packed him up, folded up like a can of sardines, and he was gone.
Yeah, I was surprised at that too, but that kind of left me wondering what was next.
I thought Powerhouse Hobbs and Shibata was gonna come. I know they took out Joe early in the night, but I kind of actually thought Hobbs and them was gonna come back out there.
I I I kind of figured they wasn't. I think they were going to use Joe being out as a storyline for all three of them to be gone, and out of the situation they could have interfered in the Moxley Page match. So I think that's what they wanted to do.
True, yeah, I can see that. So I guess they just wanted like, because I kind of thought they were gonna come out, but I guess given the whole injury angle they did, they weren't gonna come out. But like I said, they did the feel good moment. Like I said, they finally got the belt off Moxley and everything. I think this whole Death Riders thing has not been good at all throughout this entire run. It is just some people said that they were trying to be like the bloodline out there, like Roman and them, and it just wasn't it. Just looking at all the matches and stuff that Moxley has feuded with for several months. So it's like I don't think this Death Riders thing has been really that good at all. Now that we finally reached the culmination, the ending of this title run.
I'm glad we ended the title run. It got the biggest pop. I don't even think they want it necessarily. The pop was just for Paige. To me, I think the pop was, thank God this storyline is over. That's what the pop was. It wasn't like,
A means to an
yes,
end.
there we go. It wasn't like, yes, you did it, Paige. It's like, yes, this storyline is over. I don't care who won. The little kid at the front could have won that title. We didn't give a damn.
It's like as long as the belt's off Moxley, it's over. It's a means to an end. It's just a means. It's a means to an end. And, and,
Yeah,
and listen, I get they tried to put, the whole some story, story elements into this of who was coming out there or who was gonna get involved. I still think it could have been done like that without the Texas death match thing and stuff.
yeah.
Just given, because like I knew, like I said, Darby, I really was expecting him to come. Danielson, I think we already kind of knew Danielson was back, given recent clips online recently of him showing up on like the whole Ring of Honor shows and stuff. But I guess he is medically cleared again. I guess he's unretired now. So Maybe he's back. I'm not sure, but the crowd went ballistic for him when he came out there.
Yeah. Man, hey, look, I think what the main event scene was really lacking was, even if you had a bad storyline with Moxley, uh, uh, the opponents shouldn't be as bad. You know, Moxley opponents wasn't the top notch opponents that everybody thought that he should have been win against. Like he would against Samoa Joe, but yeah, he would against Samoa Joe. That's a good to us. That that's a main event. It should be a main event, but he wasn't booked like one. You know, he haven't been booked like one. He been in this mid card group, and you know he the trio champion. So it like him going against Samoa Joe. It wasn't really the top notch opponents that we thought he should have been going against.
And he went against names, but then it's like, come on, I'm watching Moxley versus Orange Cassidy now. Come on now, seriously. And then
Right,
Swerve, I knew he wasn't gonna win it. I just knew he wasn't gonna win it. It was a whole bunch of screwy stuff, anyways. Edge, as wacky as that whole feud was, but even I was kind of starting to believe Edge was gonna win it. But they tried to make sure Edge didn't really lose cleanly to Moxley, anyways. Even after I'm gonna hit you with this giant spike board, but I'm like, well, shit, Edge should have won from there then at that point. But yeah, he still didn't even win. And like just the opponents, but I just in my opinion. I always thought Ospreay or Darby was gonna be the guy to take the belt off him. Like I said before, I just did not really believe in Hangman like that all the way. I just didn't. It's like, yeah, he's champion now, so we'll see what happens. But like I said, the crowd popped. Even though I still like we said earlier, means to an end. But um, that's who I thought was gonna win the title, though. That's who I thought was gonna take the belt off Moxley.
oh yeah, don't get me wrong. This is not the person that I wanted, and like you said, I wanted Will Ospreay to win. I think most of the AEW fan base wanted Will Ospreay to win, but once they knew that out of page one, they kind of just pivot to, all right, cool. This not necessarily the person that I want, but hey, if he going to be the person to take the title off of Moxley, I so be it. If we wanted Will to do it, but damn it, shit, anybody could have done it at this point. They could have just put Brody Lee and not Brody. What that nigga name, bro?
Brody
Damn,
King.
Brody King. Not my bad recipe, but I they could have put King in there, and then we would have been like, well, that's not the person, but damn it, we're gonna go behind. We'll get behind him. We'll make him a star in 3 weeks if they would have did that. I swear, because we would have been cheering for everything just for him to just take the title off of him. And it just didn't matter who did it at this point. And like now we could get to some storyline that can at least make sense. I ain't saying we're gonna have some top notch storyline, but damn it, it's gonna be better than whatever Moxley would push it to us.
Yeah, I will say this. Do you think Moxley will go away for a while?
Um, no, because now he gonna be in these little storylines with Darby and Brian Danielson. So I think he gonna be staying for a little bit longer, staying around for a little bit longer. I think it, let me rephrase that. He probably be gone for 2 weeks max, but I wouldn't say for a while though. But I still think he still got to do this storyline with Darby Allen and Brian Danielson, because on the simple fact that they came back for him, so we gotta put a we gotta end that storyline soon too. So I guess he would be gone for 2 weeks, but not more than that.
Yeah, and I also think that obviously MJF, given he's got that title shot now, he will be going after Hangman pretty soon.
Yeah, because that's gonna be the only one, the only heel top dog right now, Everybody else is like, Moxley gonna be gone, like you said, for at least 2 weeks, so we can keep him away from keep him away from the title picture. Who else would you have other than MJF for out of pace to go against?
Yeah, what other top heels do we really got around? Like top heels, like that are really gonna be believable challengers against Hangman Page. I don't know. I was gonna say somebody from the Don Callis family. Like they'll get a match, but I don't think they're gonna beat, you know, Hangman for the title. Swerve and Ospreay, I don't even know right now. They're faces, so I'm not sure which one of them if they go after the world title. Maybe soon, I don't know. But it's like, yeah, what top heels do we have other than MJF and him having the Hurt Syndicate as an insurance policy? So I don't know. I don't know. So we're gonna see what happens next. But overall, man, after this long, long marathon of a show, and AEW had to go against literally three WWE two WWE shows that day, but we seen who they've had to go against yesterday from, the Great American Bash and Saturday night's main event and all that. What did you think about this? If you really look at the time frame, and I'll say this, okay, so the pre-show started at 12 o'clock p.m., but those pre-show matches didn't start at 1 p.m. So this show went from 1 p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. yesterday, our time in Chicago.
Man, wow, my fucking goodness, damn. I didn't realize that though, Bryce, because I kind of broke it up in 2 days. I mean, like basically 2 days. It wasn't like I started last night. Yeah, I ended up going to sleep, waking back up this morning, and finishing the rest. That when you had texted me this morning, I already had finished it, and I was about to watch Saturday Night Main Event. So I guess it felt that long, but I guess it because I did it, watch it live. You know, I broke it up the way I did. But my goodness, that's long as hell, man. That's too damn long. That's too damn long.
And here's the thing, I'll say this. I'm not surprised because it's AEW and they do these marathon shows, but good Lord, man, 6 to 7 hours though. That's just crazy. Maybe that's why they started so early in the day, given how like this show started like at 5, 6 p.m. yesterday. That show probably wouldn't have went off to like almost 1 a.m.
And yeah, that would be bad.
And I
That
think I
would,
made a debate, and I'll say this, one of the last things I'll say about this. I swear I was kind of debating somebody, and I said, like, you know what? I know they're starting this show early. I thought it was weird at first. Like, why are they starting like 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon? I'm like, at first I'm like, y'all can easily take out Saturday night's main event. Like, come on, like it ain't no, like y'all can handle that. Because I know WWE was putting all those shows trying to take some viewership away from them and all that. But I was like, well, if it's AEW's biggest show of the year, I think they got a great chance of winning the whole weekend and whatnot, given how WWE is slapdashed a lot of the shows they put on this weekend and whatnot.
oh no, they could. They want to be honest with you. I watched both shows. I mean, I watched all three shows, and to be honest with you, they kind of won. To be honest with you, yeah, I look at Saturday Night Main Event. It really wasn't that. And it's unfortunately I don't know what's really going on, but it looked like unfortunately Seth got injured, and that match kind of went fast because of that. But other than that, like I didn't see anything from NXT that could have beat them, or I couldn't see nothing from Saturday Night Main Event that could have beat them. So they could have still won. They still could have beat them out.
Because I've had this debate with people, and I'll say this, giving back when Double or Nothing happened, and I know they were kind of competing against NXT Battleground. A lot of people say NXT Battleground had higher numbers of people watching than Double or Nothing. Because I chose to watch Double or Nothing first. Okay, I chose that over NXT. Like I
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, that's the order that I did it. I watched double. Oh, you talk about double or nothing? Oh, you talk about that paper? Oh, my bad. I am so sorry.
no,
I
same thing. No, it's the same
I
thing.
think I think I did your routine too. I think I did double or nothing first, and then NXT. I think I did it that way that time. I don't know.
Because, like, yeah, I chose the AEW one over there, and I was going to choose All In anyways. Come on, it's the biggest show of the year for them. So, some are going to say it's their equivalent, I guess, to WrestleMania and everything. So, like I said, I don't know if they sold out the show. I don't know. It looked like it was a full house. We'll probably figure that out sooner, but I was going to choose All In regardless of whatever WWE had going on that day. Okay, like, I was going to catch it after, but I'm going to choose All In. But overall thoughts of this entire show, your overall thoughts of it.
Um, yeah. Like I said earlier, the first beginning it did really pick up. It did really pick me up really like that. It did really pick up until I saw like the really the I would say I would say Okada. That's too late because I did enjoy another match before that.
The women's title.
Yeah, of course. I enjoyed those all. I mean, those two matches right there, and then I can't really put my tongue, my finger on what other matches I did enjoy. Cause I know I did enjoy more than those two matches. But the rest of the card, it was kind of bad, and the main event was pure bullshit. So yeah.
I will say this. I really did enjoy the show, though. I think this was really fun. Like I said, I think it through the beginning stages of all this. A lot of it wasn't really hyped up to where it was, and it was just kind of whatever. And like I said, it's like 3 matches in like 2 hours, which was already crazy enough. I felt like the show didn't start picking up, and I agree with Shaggy about the tag match with the Bucks and Swerve and Ospreay. But then again,
Yeah, that's the other match I enjoyed. My bad.
yeah, but then even I kind of felt it was still kind of falling off a little bit after that match, because like I said, the casino was the casino, the women's one. And I just thought the tag match, for the tag team titles was kind of whatever until the whole Edge and Christian angle happened. So, it was kind of down, then it went up a little, then it kind of went a little bit down, up a little. Then, it was getting hot once the triple main event came on and all that with the last 3 matches. But I think it was an overall fun show. I enjoyed it. Just too damn long.
Yeah, it was just too long.
Like way too long. Like I'm not surprised it was, but dude, seven. Come on, man, almost 7, 8 hours. Like, come on, like, come on. Like that. This is like, good lord, was this longer than WrestleMania 35? I think. Or was it 34, 35? I remember WrestleMania 35 being super long, but that was like at 4 o'clock p.m. that day, and I think that went on to like almost 12:30.
Yeah.
So this was long. It was a marathon. So yeah. But nah, overall though, like I said, real fun show though. But we're done from here. This was a long thing to unpack. Hopefully the next time we're all back on here, maybe it will be for Slammiversary. I think Slammiversary is next week, so I do want to see that show. I'm looking forward to that for multiple reasons. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, comment, subscribe. Follow on Twitter, Hoodie Night 890. I know Shaggy's not here, but thank him for being online too for the time he could, got a chance to talk. I know he had some mic problems and everything, but still thank him for being on. You got anything to plug?
No, just follow me on Twitter, straightface40, and that's about it.
But yeah, other than that, we out from here. So ain't nobody love me better. Ain't nobody love me better. But yeah, we out here. See y'all then. Peace.